Warning, the following podcast contains spoilers, so if you don't want to know that Linnea Quigley sticks a tube of lipstick through her boob, stop listening now.
The International House of Horror.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the International House of Horror podcast, a low-budget podcast for low-budget horror movies. I'm your host, Rocco, aka the Mad Pancaker, and across from me is none other than the resurrected Scary Perry.
Hello there. It feels good to be alive.
Yeah, so apparently I screwed up, and I'm never going to that Beetlemeyer guy again to reverse exorcisms to try to get rid of a ghost, because it just brought Perry back to life here, and yeah, so that was a mistake.
What was his name again?
Beetlemeyer or something like that.
Just one more time.
No.
Okay.
That's what they call him in the movie. It's like, maybe we should contact that Beetlemeyer guy. Yeah, so Scary Perry back among the living after having perished in the last episode. Are you ready to dive into some hotcakes here, Perry?
Yeah, let's do it.
I mean, because we're not diving into any real hotcakes because Dolores can't bring them.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Oh, man.
Bitch.
Dolores took forever to fucking clear off this table. Anyways. All right, you want me to start it off here?
There'll be bugs this time. We had an ant the one time, crickets.
So, I know spooky season is over, but we want to keep the spooky season alive, the Halloween season going. So first off for my hotcakes, and, during Halloween season, they start putting out all the horror DVDs at Walmart. I mean, I have most of those. They put out some of the usual titles, but
with the what I'm seeing is
they put the sleeve on there, the fancy orange colored sleeve for
cool artists to do new sleeves or whatever, or graphic artists.
And this is a DVD, and I've been usually avoiding DVDs for my collection anymore. I try to get Blu-rays anymore. The only reason I picked this up is because it's a bunch of movies I don't own/have, and I'm not too heavily invested in this franchise to care that they're on DVD versus Blu-ray.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If it was something like Of the Living Dead, or the Dead series, I'd want Blu-rays or something. But for this, so I picked up the Poltergeist collection. So it's got Poltergeist, Poltergeist 2, The Other Side, and Poltergeist 3. DVD combo pack from good old Wally World.
Wally World.
And as I've said before, I've never sat and watched Poltergeist all the way through. I've never seen the other two sequels. I know about them. I think they vary in quality. I've heard some decent things about the sequels, though.
So wait, we got others? I didn't even know that they had.
You didn't know there's sequels to Poltergeist?
I know they remade it.
Yeah, well, I think that's another one of those remakes that's like, why? That could have been a rights holder remake.
It has Sam Rockwell. I like him as an actor. I have no idea how good it is.
Could have been one of those remake the movie so that we hold on to the rights, because if you don't do something with a property, the rights will revert to somebody. It could have been one of those deals with the remake.
Sounds like Halloween. What?
Oh, and Hellraiser. That's another infamous franchise that they'll shoot out a crappy straight-to-video sequel just to keep the rights. Although I did catch the end of Poltergeist again recently on TV. Like I said, I've seen bits and pieces of this movie. At the end, though, I'm like, oh man, James Cameron's in this movie? That's awesome. All right, you got any hotcakes to flip over to, Perry, or you want me to rattle through some more of these pickups?
Oh, what? Sorry.
You got any hotcakes, or you want me to rattle through
It's kind of weird when I'm
pickups?
live. I'm having some side
I got a lot of pickups. I'm going to try to rattle through them.
Yeah, I got you got a lot here. Let me go. We'll start with this one. Oh, you're going to love this one.
All right.
I saw recently, I watched the to-be exclusive remake of Terror Train.
Oh, boy. All right. So first question, is David Copperfield in it?
No.
Is there a magician in it?
Yes.
Okay. Is there a cigarette through a quarter?
No.
Already a letdown.
Okay.
Zero pancakes.
So let me just go through this
All
real
right.
quick. So it's, it has your typical basic copy-paste stuff from the original one. Although that's never here.
Is it as bad as the shot remake of Psycho?
They changed a couple of things, races and stuff like that. I'm not going into that. The train conductor is a woman, not a man.
They went woke with it.
No, I don't want to get into
I'm just kidding. I know how that's like a lot of people are like, they gender swapped woke.
Anyways, so there's the lizard suit in there, the costume and what was he wearing? Oh, he was
Groucho
wearing
Marx.
the Groucho. Yeah, it's a dumb
the
clown mask.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
I always call it the Gene Shalit mask. Remember, because I think he
Yeah.
looks like Gene Shalit.
There's no
That's his name.
peanut
Gene Shalit.
dispenser. I wish that was in there. It's classic.
No disco.
No, not really. They tried, but it's not disco-y. All right. Anyways, just to cut to the chase. I'm spoiling this movie. I don't care if people. You come hate me if you want.
Is the killer Kenny, but he's dressed up as a woman? Is it
no
cross-dresser?
No.
Yeah, you can't make that anymore.
The magician didn't have an assistant. And in fact, the killer in this one, it isn't actually Kenny. He somehow was on the train, and I don't know, but you think it's him the whole time. They rush to the conclusion that's him. And then he pops out of nowhere when a kill happens, but it just happens right after it, and he's in another room. So it's not him. And then the magician shoots him and kills him, thinking he's a killer. But it turns out the killer is the train conductor, the lady, because it's Kenny's mom.
Once you said, I kind of figured that might be the swerve.
So that's the swerve, that it's Kenny's mom, and then, same kind of ending.
Thanks, you saved me from having to watch that probably terrible movie.
Yeah, so that's the twist. Ugh. I mean, there's no quarters for a cigarette. There's no Groucho Marx mess. There's not a lot of good stuff.
Probably lacks a lot of the charm of the original.
They do the rose trick. It's not bad.
Yeah.
He's an okay musician, whoever the hell the guy played him. I give it a shitty half star. Don't watch it.
Sounds
watch the original.
Sounds accurate. It's the thing with a lot of those
the
remakes.
kills
they
are
lack
okay.
the charm.
They're not that great. They're better in the original.
All right.
So I got that for that.
All right, back to me. So another pickup from the Wally World again. So this is one I'm kind of pissed off about because I have all the others on Blu-ray. And then I think I went back later on and I found it on Blu-ray. I'm like, you motherfuckers. But I'm not super invested in this franchise to care that much about it. But I griped about how the 3-pack was missing the 4th movie, and then the new one didn't. So I picked up Scream 4, or as some people like to call it, Scree-Forum.
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 That's my favorite forum. Hey, you know what? You can't kill David Arquette.
Hell, not until the 5th.
Well, I'll say that. No.
Another fun one. Looking forward to picking up that. I've watched most of it on TV before during a Scream marathon. It's a good iteration. Another
I gotta
entry
watch
in the film.
I think I watched some of the first one.
The Scream franchise is one of those franchises that actually has some pretty solid entries. I know a lot of people don't really like 3, but 3's just kind of the goofy, wacky one that's a little bit of fun. Not as good as the others, of course, but it's still okay. It's one of those franchises with at least every entry's solid.
Here's a fun little story real quick.
All right.
One of my friends the one time, we had a choice to go see a movie. This is when we were younger, so my mom dropped us off to go see a movie.
All right.
And so there was 2 options. It was Scream 3, I believe, which I've never seen any of the other Scream. Maybe part of the first one. Or Elf. I don't know if I'm in the same timeline. It's either Scream 3 or Scary Movie 3 or whatever.
Oh, okay.
It shows Elf.
Two vastly different.
And he's he was really against it, but we had the time of our life laughing. And that I like Elf.
Elf, yeah. A lot of people like Elf.
Will Ferrell.
I've seen it. Yeah, I've seen it before. I've seen most of it. Again, just catching on TV. It's okay. It's not my cup of tea of Christmas movie, but I understand people.
It's got James Caan in it.
Yeah.
And other people probably.
All right, so
Ralphie.
Flip it back to you over there for another hot
another
take
one?
if you got
Okay,
one.
yeah. Another movie I saw, which I was really excited to see this one. It wasn't any theaters around us because they're all up in Timbuktu, north of us. Terrifier 2.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I just want to harken back to the first one.
Sure.
I really liked the first one. When I saw it, I knew they were going to in the style of an 80s slasher, but I knew the main character is our antagonist. Is that right?
Yeah. Is Art the Clown.
I'm trying to use my phonics right. If that's phonics.
Yeah. You're trying to.
Art the Clown.
You need,
so
you
I
need
know
your
you're going to
thesaurus.
have a little comedy, right? I feel like that movie had just the right amount of comedy in it. And it's really good. I don't want to give ratings.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd
thought
probably
it
give it
was
a
just
4
okay.
right now.
It wasn't my favorite. I mean, I know they do. I don't want to spoil it, but I know they do a switcheroo on the main character in the middle, which I didn't kind of like because I like the other main character, and the other character that comes in and becomes the new main character just had no personality to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She just kind of seemed like she was there.
Yeah. So I give it initially. I'll have to re-rank these or whatever. I'll probably give that a 4. I like that movie a lot. So now this one.
Yeah, the guy's performance is great. I'll give him that.
This one,
there's a lot of gore in it.
Yeah, he's so good. And this one, it is weird. So you still have him, and he's doing his kills and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And they're good, and he's doing his his comedic. I think in this movie the comedic stuff it's a little bit, it's almost too much. It's like some Marvel movies now where like they're good with comedy, but then they go extreme. There's so much comedy and you're like, come on, you didn't need that much comedy. And like the kills are fantastic. Whoever their special effects gore people are outstanding. But then they also introduce this element of like it's like allude to me like of magic. Yeah, like magic in the movie, which is weird because it's not in the first one with the main character and stuff, and something about her father. And it's weird. And then they also they have these like weird like dream sequences and like another Terrifier. It's like a little girl kind of in the same makeup, not the same suit. And it's just like weird. It's like they put this magic stuff in it. Like I know you had to go some direction with it. I mean, I swear to God, just make the same kind of movie, just in a different place.
I heard it has a bit more of a plot than the first one.
That's
what I've
heard. I kind of like the first one from not really having. It has like a kind of plot, but like the magic made it weird. And overall, I don't know. I can't really. I got to revisit it, but right now, like it probably sits at like a 3. But I don't know. I gotta.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of people really like it.
I mean, I don't hate it because I really like Art the Clown and the actor and stuff, and the kills are good. It's just maybe 3.5. See, I'm all over the place because I gotta watch it again. It's just that magic element I wasn't expecting, and it's kind of.
I gotcha.
It's kind of odd. It's like I don't know.
All right,
out of nowhere, buddy.
Gotcha. All right, back to me. All right, so for my next hot cake, I got. Maybe I'll just cover these 2 together since they're. Maybe I'll just cover all 3 of these real quick together since they're all from Scream Factory. Purchased at different times. They're all pre-orders. So the first one up, I got 4K Ultra HD and Blu-ray combo in a nice fancy steelbook of Army of Darkness.
Boomstick.
Yep, good old Bruce Campbell.
Bruce Willis.
Bruce Willis. No, Bruce William. He's the new action hero.
Oh man, have you ever heard about Bruce William? That's my favorite actor.
I don't know who the hell Bruce William is. Now the only weird thing about this is, so it's got the theatrical cut in 4K. Theatrical cut and Blu-ray. The director's cut is only on Blu-ray, and then the international cut's only on Blu-ray, which I feel like the director's cut is really the best way to watch the movie because there's a lot of stuff actually cut out in the theatrical cut that it just makes it make more sense. Like at the end when Henry the Red, I think is his name, the other king that's opposed to Arthur, comes in and helps them out. You don't even know that they actually showed up to help them out. He shows up at the end, and then like you're like, oh man, now the Deadites are gone. Are they going to fight each other because they're enemies? And no, they hug and embrace. But there's no setup to that one in the theatrical cut because they never even say that Henry's men have arrived to save the day type deal. So that's kind of interesting. I'd prefer that one would have been in 4K, but it's not. It's okay. But I mean, Army of Darkness is a classic, of course. And then next up, I'll run through my Scream collection here real quick. So we got The Fog, John Carpenter's The Fog, a movie that we've referenced quite a few times in our episodes. And so it's got.
I mean, these are really nice colors.
Oh yeah. This is another steelbook, another 4K. I have it on DVD, but same with Army of Darkness. I have like multiple versions, the director's cut and theatrical cut on DVD, but I wanted to upgrade, and this was a perfect opportunity with these coming out. So Tom Atkins, Jamie Lee Curtis, Janet Leigh, Hal Holbrook, Adrienne Barbeau, just an all-star cast there. Another classic.
Big Tits Barbeau.
Classic film.
And Tom Atkins.
Yeah.
How can you go wrong?
And that's where he plays the character Nick Castle, who, as we established, became a doctor and works at the same place as Dr. Dan Chalice. All right, so next up, got the new 4K Ultra HD edition of The Return of the Living Dead.
10.5 stars.
Okay.
With extra mayonnaise.
And yeah, it's my favorite movie of all time. No
I'm
introduction
so glad you introduced me to
about
this movie.
Oh yeah, I try to introduce as many people to this movie as possible. It's great. Linnea Quigley, you got Clu Gallagher, James Karen, Don Caffa, Miguel Nunez Jr. Just great cast, great direction, great effects for the most part.
Party time.
Only thing is, and this is why I heard about the previous Scream edition, it has the rescore and the original score minus the one song. I forget what the name of the song is, but there's one song that they haven't been able to get the rights. So I know there is some version of a Blu-ray floating around where it has the complete score, but I figured it was worth an upgrade considering I only have the DVD versions with the not original score, and the only version I have with the original score is the VHS. So So there's that. And it also came with this, I mean, I could have ordered it separate just by itself, but I think it came with a poster too. I think all these came with posters of the covers.
Oh, that's
so, I mean,
cool.
this didn't have a new cover. It's not a steel book with an alternate cover. They just went with the classic cover.
Which is
But they all
great
came with
anyways.
posters.
Doesn't need a new cover. It's great.
So this collectible enamel pin set. So it's pretty cool. And I normally don't go for these enamel pins because I think they're a bit pricey.
Yeah.
But I mean, it was
You're
for
not like
Return of the
you're
Living
not like
Dead,
a
so that's
guy
why
that
I
wants to
picked
go
it up.
down to Disney World and be a pin collector.
Yeah, I think they're a bit overpriced for what you get. Yeah, you could check it out
I
and
would
open
like
it
to
up. I
see
think
these.
there's one of the tagline. They're back from the grave and ready to party. There's one of I think each of the zombies on the front cover. I know the spray paint guy's there. Yeah, I think it's the 3 zombies on
No
the front
Tar
cover.
Man?
No, it's got the 3 guys on the cover.
Yeah, it's
the
still
artwork
still
of
good.
the cover.
I'm just like Tar Man. They're dope. Wow, that's really nice actually. Comes in a nice box, nice foam to protect the
Yeah.
pins.
So I don't know why I'm going to put them on because I don't really wear pins too
Yeah.
much. But
Probably
I'm always worried about putting them on because I have like pins on like duffel bags.
You
and,
could probably
know,
just
like,
put the back of the box
and
on it. Sorry.
like handbags. But I'm always worried they're going to fall off my handbag when I'm not paying attention.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't do
You know
that.
my World of Tanks one where I got all the pins on. I'm always worried.
Yeah, I got that too. Yeah.
Not that I try not to carry that around too much. So all right, I'll throw it back to you now. So that was like a series of hotcakes. Back to you. For
I
some
got one
hotcakes.
more. This is last night after intense board gaming. Me, Mad Pancaker, and Murky Malador, we watched the original Suspiria.
Oh yeah.
All right, so we went with Tubi first, and it was kind of
Yeah.
It has like this weird lag in it.
Yeah, I don't know if that was just a Tubi issue. Like maybe because you were streaming it right through your
good.
TV.
Yeah.
So I don't know if maybe it was streaming it through the TV. I thought maybe we should have maybe tried streaming it on like on the system.
Yeah.
Get Tubi on a system and see if it worked better.
we should.
I didn't think about that until it was like too late. But go
Then
ahead.
we went to some other site to try to stream it. I can't disclose anything like that.
Yeah.
And it happened to be the Italian version,
language,
which
yeah.
we're not going to be able to understand anything.
It had subtitles, but
Yeah.
I didn't feel like reading.
We like the dubbing. We like the
Yeah.
dubbing.
It's
Anyways.
part of the charm.
Okay, so I got to rewatch this because I like my phone sometimes. People, very important people message me, and I look up stuff all the time. I'm trying to find this Boudoir magazine still. It's big.
Yeah. Connell Cochran was sending you an apology message and like a gift basket.
But I was paying
confirmation.
attention. I liked it. I liked what I saw. I liked the atmosphere. It really seemed really where it was filmed, really nice and atmospheric. And then although I missed parts of the ending, but I did like the initial ending. Like right now, I'm gonna give it like a 3.5, but I have to revisit it, Rocco. It was good.
That-
I had to rewatch
This is
it.
another your opinion is wrong because
Oh, no, it's not my opinion, but
Suspiria is one of the greatest horror movies ever made.
Hey, Rocco, Pancaker, it doesn't matter. This is not concrete. This is just initial, buddy. All right.
Yeah. Suspiria, one of the greatest horror films of all time.
All right.
Like, every time I
Okay.
watch it, it keeps getting better.
All right. I happen to like other Dario Argento films, like Tenebrae. I'm sorry.
Anyways, back to me for some hot
Although it
takes,
did
so-
have Goblin in it. Okay, I'm sorry.
All right. Moral of the story is pay attention to the movie. Don't be on your phone, right?
I guess. I mean, it was late at night. I have like
Yeah,
80,
you might have been tilting.
ADW.
You started getting sick
D40.
like Jessica Harper in the film, so
Yeah, I started getting sick.
So I think the witches were haunting you
I
there.
ate a pistachio shell and it
It
screwed
might
me
have been
up.
the side effects of the resurrection,
I think there's drugs in pistachio shells or something.
All right, so more Scream Factory goodness and one non-Scream Factory. Run through these real quick. So we got Halloween 2 Collector's Edition.
Oh,
in
you
4K.
could just throw that in the
Then we got.
garbage can.
we got our favorite guy, our favorite
What?
Michael Myers of all time,
Who
Dick
is it?
Warlock.
Who? Dick?
Yeah, Dick Warlock.
I said something about that guy.
like
one-
Dick.
Wait, what hit it again? I just talked over it.
I
wanna hear it again.
They heard it.
All right.
All right, so I picked that up, of course. Feel free to listen to our episode, maybe hopefully watching sometime in the future.
All right, just give me this. I'll take this.
Next up,
Is this my Christmas present?
no. So we got Collector's Edition. So all these are 4K. So Halloween 3, Season of the Witch. If you haven't listened to our last episode yet where we reviewed Halloween 3, I recommend it. Check it out for what we think about that one. Is it the best sequel in the Halloween franchise? Yes, no, without a doubt.
Is it the best movie in the Halloween franchise? Yes.
That's debatable.
Well,
but-
for me it is. All right, anyways, good.
So next up, I already said that I had Halloween 4 on 4K for reasons. So picked up Halloween 5, The Revenge of Michael Myers.
Well, I can't tell you much about this yet until next
So
year.
yeah, so I picked that one up. That's kind of another low point in the franchise. So next up, And they bundled all these together, the mid 90s to early 2000s Halloweens.
Paul Rudd,
So
baby.
4K collection of Halloween 6 or 666 or whatever you want to call it. Halloween, The Curse of Michael Myers. Usually doesn't have the number next to it, but sometimes they put the 666 or just the 6. Then we got Halloween H20 or H2O. Everybody calls it H2O. I guess you should technically
Halloween
call it H20.
water. Halloween water.
Yeah, that's why they don't really want you to call it H2O, because it's H20, because it's supposed to be 20
Now
years.
that's some hot
But you
quality
knew everybody's-
H2O.
So, okay film. I need to sit down and watch it all the way through. I think it's just okay. Has a better ending than a certain film we'll be talking about in a little bit. Then we have Halloween Resurrection. So we get Buster Rhymes.
Buster Rhymes
with his Kung Fu. Trick or treat, motherfucker.
And Joseph, well, one of those has. Oh, the H2O has Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Yes, Joseph Gordon-Levitt. He dies at the beginning, along with poor Nurse Chambers. She can't get a break. She only survives in like the original timeline, because I don't think they bring her back in any of the other ones after number 2. She doesn't die in number 2. And then finally, so this isn't from Scream Factory, but I was out and about like at Target or something. I'm like, I don't have this one. I might as well get it to complete the collection. It's probably better than the other ones in the trilogy. So we have Halloween 2018 in 4K Ultra HD. So my Halloween 4K collection is now officially complete. I have the entire franchise, save for one film we'll be talking about after one more hot cake in 4K.
Where's the Rob Zombie movies?
Except for the Rob Zombies, the non-Rob Zombie.
You don't have the
remake.
one that just came out.
Yeah, we'll get to.
Wait,
that
is that even a Halloween movie?
We'll get to that in a second. So we got one more hot cake before we dive into our final hot cake. So move this over, move these out of the way. Okay. So Kickstarter that finally came in. I talked about this in a previous hot cake when I kickstarted it. So we have Final Girl, the board game, Series 1. So Series 2 should be coming out sometime early next year, no later than summer, I'm guessing. This is a board game. It's a solo board game, so it's only one player. But I'm sure it kind of works good with 2 people if you have somebody like reading the kills off, because there's a book with all the kills and the stuff in it for some lore and fluff. Basic premise, it's obviously you got slasher movies. So it's a modular board game too, so each box has a killer and a location. So for example, we have Hans the Butcher and Camp Happy Trails. He's like your Jason Voorhees knockoff. So he's like your Jason Voorhees slasher with your location.
On the other side, they showed Jason.
Yeah, they got
hockey
the
mask.
hockey mask. Yeah, you can't copyright a hockey mask apparently. So yeah, and then you got a poltergeist, which I'm very surprised. I guess you probably can't trademark the term poltergeist. Pretty sure it's the exact same spelling too. I mean, there's only one way to spell the word poltergeist. And then that one takes place at Creech Manor. Kind of a little bit like a Shining Manor, though, because there's like a ballroom in it.
Well, there's Creech. What is it? I think it's called something. There's something Manor in Stranger Things.
Could be.
I think it's called like Creeley. Maybe they call it the house.
Yeah, they reference a bunch of stuff,
All right,
but
anyways,
it's not just like the poltergeist
It's
house.
actually
It's kind of
Robert
got like a
Englund's
mansion.
house. He plays a character.
Gotcha. So then you got this Inkayamba guy. He's like some sort of shaman thing. I'm not sure what the references are there, and that takes place at like this Sacred Groves tourist area, but it's like also like religiously sacred to the Inkayamba guy. Then you got Geppetto, the puppet master. So obvious puppet master theme at Carnival of Blood. So it's like
He's not at a hotel.
It's like a Ringhouse Circus, carnival feel, reference to a lot of stuff. Then you have Dr. Fright, and this takes place at Maple Lane, so he's the Freddy Krueger knockoff. And then finally you have a small little vignette called Terror from Above, which is like the birds. Really impressive board game. Solid rules. The modular system's nice, so you can actually take a killer and play them on a different map because how the modular is. So you can swap out. You can like play Dr. Fright at Camp Happy Trails. You can play Hans at like Maple Lane. You can mix and match them. So there's so many combinations of cards and locations and killers. Not to mention the new set that's coming out is going to add more to it. Very impressive board game. I highly recommend it to horror fans of board games. Solo game. So that's kind of, if you got an afternoon, you don't have anything better to do. It's a nice little thing, or, maybe it's crappy weather outside, so you can't get any work done. So, just bust it out in the afternoon. And yeah, if you like playing with yourself, the C-Pair making the motion over there. But no, very impressed with it. Very disappointed because I'm like, so trying to make a slasher-themed board game. And I'm like, God damn it. Mine's actually not a solo game, though, but it has very good mechanics. I'm impressed with it. You move around the map. You're trying to get items. You're trying to save victims from the slasher. Ultimately, you're trying to defeat the killer in most of them, but they each have their own unique flavor and special powers. There's tons of replay too, even if you're playing the same killer, because they have different like final powers or dark powers that become revealed during the game. So there's like 4 different cards for those. So, just amongst those, there's a bunch of different combinations. Very impressed. Like I said, if you like board games, you like slashers, you like horror, and you don't mind playing by yourself, then it's an impressive game. And that brings us, unfortunately, to our final hotcake of the week. So between this and our previous recording, we'd mentioned that a certain sequel was coming out in the Halloween franchise to complete what is that guy's name? Gordon Green or David Gordon Green? What the fuck's that guy's name?
Joseph Gordon Green or something like that?
I don't know. I don't even fucking care anymore.
Or is it David? I don't know. I'll give it to you in like 2 seconds.
Yeah, it's not that important. That came out on October 14th, so Halloween Ends.
David Gordon Green.
David Gordon Green, all right. So we got Halloween Ends. Oh boy. After this movie, maybe the franchise should end.
You mean Christine 2?
Yeah, Christine 2. So, oh man, this movie is...
Corey's Story?
Yeah, and we both had the pleasure of watching this. I had to watch it twice because...
John, I don't know how you did it.
Jay Bones canceled on me, and we were going to watch it on a Monday, like the Monday after it came out. Originally, I was going to take him to theaters as part of his birthday gift for it, but I started hearing really bad things about it. I'm like, I don't want to waste fucking money on this, so I'm going to borrow Perry's Peacock over here and use that.
The cock,
yeah.
He borrowed my cock.
I'm like, I'm not going to spend money on this if it's that bad and, if I'm going to be disappointed. So we were going to watch it Monday, but he had to cancel on me. And I'm still sitting there Monday. I'm like, I got nothing better to do. I'm going to bite the bullet. I'm going to dive into this and see how it is. And then I did rewatch it with John because I promised to watch it with him. And I wanted more affirmation about how bad this movie was.
It was just funny, though. You started watching it before I did. I forget what I was busy that weekend it came out.
Yeah, I think you had a concert or something. You were
I was going to a concert. Yeah. Sabaton.
Yeah.
Anyways, me and Murky.
Yeah, there you go.
So, anyways, yeah, I remember you texted me, which I saw later once I get to the concert venue because I don't look at my text while I drive. They like literally probably 5 or 10 minutes and you're like, this is the worst piece of shit ever.
I'm like 9 minutes in and I already know this fucking movie's gonna fucking suck.
And then you just keep messaging me and you're like, it's not getting any better. It's not getting any better.
No, it's and interestingly, so I recorded a brief video review. I'd call it Quick Cakes. It's not out yet, but I got it edited real quick. It's just a simple little one take, just me recording with my phone talking about this movie. I'm going to dive more into it here because I saved some stuff specifically for this rather than spill it all on there. I was hoping to have it out before recording, but it's going to come out after recording, probably for this. Very little editing. There's not going to be any fucking cut scenes or anything. It's just me in front of my phone waiting for Dolores to clean off this table. It's about time she fucking did. Bitch, she was taking fucking forever to clear off this table. You were over in the gas station bathroom.
I hear they got the stuff back in.
Oh, dog. Jesus Christ. That's the worst. Oh man, so where do we start with this one? I mean, I know we're not gonna deep dive. Yeah, that's the best place to start. Like I said, and I talk about this a little bit in the video. I have a 9-minute rule. It's not a hard fast rule. It's not necessarily 9 minutes. Sometimes it's like the 5-minute mark. Sometimes it's the 12-minute, 15-minute. But within the first,
they usually say it's the first 5 minutes, right?
Yeah, within the first 9 minutes.
But you have 9, okay.
Yeah, it always seems to line up at 9 minutes.
You give it an extra 4.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, every movie I watch, it always seems like at the 9-minute mark. That's like when it kicks in. That's like when you know what you're in for, and whether you can tell how a movie's going to shape up.
Do you have like a stopwatch?
I just checked like when this kid fell off. I'm like, yep, sure enough, the 9-minute mark. Well, it's the same thing with Zack Snyder's Dawn of the Dead. Right at the 9-minute mark, I'm like, yep, this movie fucking sucks.
Movie wasn't that bad. But anyways,
don't make me talk about that movie again. It's slowly moving to zero pancakes. But so where's Michael Myers at in this Michael Myers Halloween film? And I know that's one of the gripes about, people gripe about Halloween 3. And I say, don't judge Halloween 3 just because Michael Myers isn't in it. The problem with this trilogy is it's been all about fucking Michael Myers. You've built it up as this epic final confrontation between Michael and Laurie. And he's not...
Yeah, exactly. That's all the trailers showed for it.
Yes. That's what people wanted from this trilogy. It's what you set up. Okay, say what you will about Halloween 2018. I thought it was just okay. Halloween Kills was very disappointing. At least there's some good kills, even though everybody was stupid who was getting killed. If you wanted to just see Michael Myers go on a rampage, there you go. At least it was something. This one, it doesn't even feel like a horror movie. There's no like tension to it. There's no atmosphere to it. It's just like this You know what this movie
guy
is?
directs the first two, right? They have a similar tone, the first two.
That's, yes,
and
it's
then
totally
he just
different.
fucking falls off a cliff.
It's so totally different than the other two. I understand, okay, and with the font of it, because for the font of the first two, they used the Halloween 1 font, the Halloween 2 font, and then this one, they used the Halloween 3 font. I'm like, don't drag Halloween 3's good name into this, please. And, they're trying to make statement, with the third one, we want to do something different. And that's something you do as the first when you're restarting something. That's when you do something different.
Yeah.
That's when you have what I call should have been the best plot twist in a fucking horror movie ever, movie period in general, is the fucking doctor should have been Michael Myers during that scene. That would have been the end all to be all. That would have been like shot this movie up in the rankings 2018. But instead, I don't know, the doctor's just weird and he has to stab that sheriff in the neck, Sheriff Meeker.
Yeah.
No, it's not Meeker. Meeker's coming up.
Oh,
this one. I forget his name.
Yeah,
I forget his character's name, but yeah.
Will Patton.
That's
yes.
The actor. Yeah. He shanks him in the neck because they dead-ended the story and they had no way for Michael Myers to get loose now unless the doctor went crazy and was stupid. And like I said, so yeah, it opens with, we'll spoil it a little bit here because fuck this movie. Not going to wait for we'll get to it eventually in a proper review, but yeah. You have this kid, Corey. I didn't even know his fucking last name, so I couldn't make the Christine reference because I didn't pay that much attention to his last name. His last name is Cunningham.
Richie Cunningham. Is it Richie?
His name's Corey Cunningham.
No, but is
I think it's Archie.
Oh, it is Archie. It is Archie, yeah.
Cunningham and Christine.
It's Archie Cunningham, yeah.
So yeah, there's the reference. Spoiler, Michael Myers is the car, and then Corey is fucking Archie. Kind of just like in that movie. The guy dies before the car does, and then the car gets finished off. Yeah. Jeez. Don't drag more good movies into your film. Oh, and that's the other thing. So during this, he's babysitting this kid. It's a year later. Michael Myers has disappeared after the events of Halloween Kills. For reasons. And he never shows up to kill anybody else. He just hides where he's at. People blame random murders on him, that type of stuff. So during this, he's babysitting this kid while these parents go to a Halloween party or a company Halloween party. I'm not sure what the fuck it is. And this little kid, he quickly becomes a douchebag. He quickly becomes like a douchebag to the babysitter, so he gets sent to his room. And they make the cardinal mistake of don't show a better film in your film. Because he's watching the John Carpenter's The Thing. Rule number 1: don't show a better. And I know that's you're making another throwback to Halloween where they show The Thing or The Thing from Another World. If you want to go with the full title that nobody ever uses, was that Howard Hughes? I think, or Howard Hawks, his version, which a lot of people really like. John Carpenter really liked. So that's a bold thing to try to put a better film or a very very good film in your film. So you need to make sure your film is as good or better than that film. So. Fail there, trying to live up to The Thing is a lofty order.
Yep.
And so then right at the 9-minute mark, so weird shit starts to happen in the house. There's like a knocked over lamp stuff, a knife's missing, that type of stuff. So he goes looking for the kid. The kid's like screaming, like screams. And so he goes looking for him. He goes upstairs. He gets locked in this fucking attic. It's not like an attic. It's like a storage room or something, but it's on the upstairs floor. And the kid locks him in and, is like teasing him.
It's like 2 flights up. It's a big house.
Yeah. It's weird architecture house, too.
Yeah, it is really weird.
Because it's got like this like overhang for like the driveway, if I remember correctly.
Yeah,
it's very weird, which I'm going to dissect this a little bit here with this. I know this is stuff I should say for 4 years from now when we finally get to Halloween Ends or however long it'll take us. But yeah, he's locked in this room. He's banging on. He's like, I'm going to kill you, because, what you say when you're pissed off at people, you don't really mean it. And he picked up the knife because it was on the stairs, so he's got the knife in hand. So right as the parents are coming home, he finally kicks down this door. It swings open, hits this kid who's standing right in front of the door in the face, and it just cuts to him falling and fucking hits the ground. I fucking started cracking up laughing. That's how fucking hilarious it was. It was just as bad as that chick who, with the gun, and she in the Halloween Kills, the nurse and the doctor who's dressed up as a nurse gets hit and then shoots herself in the face because she's still pulling the trigger after Michael kicks the door open and the gun swings around.
I know this kid's fucked up. Are you that scared that you gotta start kicking down a door?
Well, he's trying to get out. He's pissed off too.
I know.
But yeah, so Corey kicks open the door, hits this kid, and I got so many. And that's the thing, when you have a good film,
you think the physics of that couldn't happen?
Oh no, it's impossible.
Well, he was right on the front of the door.
No, I'll run down everything why the physics of this
but
are
don't
impossible.
You think the doorknob hit him and
the doorknob hit him in the face, which we'll get to. Oh, I get to all this.
Was he that short? I don't even fucking remember.
That's the other problem. So break down how none of this makes sense. And like I said, I laughed so hard at the scene, and that's how I knew. I'm like, this movie's gonna fucking suck because you have this ridiculous scene. And as I was saying, in a good movie, you can forgive its faults. Like, you might see something later on that you're like, you kind of forgive it. Like in Dawn of the Dead, like when he's aiming down the scope cam and then they, squib, and the blood flies and hits the camera lens, which is the scope of the gun. You forgive stuff in actually good movies like that. You overlook little faults like that or mistakes. Once you start and your movie's bad and you can tell it's not good, that's just stuff that piles on and you nitpick about. And that's what I'm going to nitpick about this entire scene with this kid falling down this thing. First off, he's not tall enough to go over this. There's a railing all around the landing. He's not tall enough to go over that railing.
Yeah.
Just flat out, he's not tall enough. He might have, especially if he got hit and rolled backwards. No railing.
Would have been more plausible if he went through the railing and fell.
Yes, but no railing came down with him, so the railing didn't break. Because if it would have broke, parts of the wood would have come down at least in a little bit. Instead, he's just down there on a bent backwards in a pile of blood as he's fucking dead because the little shit deserves to fucking die, just like this entire franchise at this point. Because I would have rather seen Michael Myers go to fucking space in this one. I would have been like, fuck yeah. I'm like, yeah. They baited switched everybody, and it's just Michael Myers and Laurie Strode in a space station.
Well, Mustafa's son, Malik Akkad, he's going to take the franchise now.
Yeah. I don't know what the hell he's going to do with it. Spoiler alert. I mean, Michael Myers may be dead, but we'll get to that in a second. We're spending too much time on this.
Yeah, you got
But we got to get to the feature thing.
Shit.
But all right, so I'm going to break down this scene and why it's ridiculous, though. Next up, when he goes up the stairs, that door is in front of the staircase, not in front of the railing. So he would have fallen down the stairs. Probably not, could have been banged up, but he could have very well survived that. So he should have fallen down the stairs and not over the railing, because the opening to the staircase is right in front of that door that he goes in.
Yeah.
So he should have fallen down the staircase. He would have had to been hit and then fly to the right in order to go over the railing, which doesn't make sense. I mean, I know the door's swinging out from the left, if I remember correctly. Actually, it might have swung out from the right. It doesn't even matter, because now the door part, I'd have to rewatch it, and God, fuck, I don't want to rewatch this movie a third time. I'd rather say Candyman into a fucking mirror 5 times than fucking... I'd be like, Tony Todd, please take me, save me from watching this movie a third time. Like I said, I had to rewatch it, but I think the door swings in. And if it swings in, that means while he's banging on it to come out, the hinges don't swing out. It's not going to be like a double hinge door where it swings in and out. You know what I'm saying? So what should have happened is as he's banging on the door, it should have fallen he breaks it off the hinges essentially, and it's going to fall backwards and just on top of the kid and not swing open and smack him in the face. Even if it does swing out by some fucking miracle, there's no way that would have been up to code. And that building is too new to be... There's no way a construction code would have allowed an outward-facing door next to a fucking staircase.
I love how we're getting into the
There's no fucking way.
Mechanics.
This is what happens when you have a bad movie. I told you. You overanalyze every fucking fault because the movie fucking sucks in general. So another big problem, I talk about this in my little video. It will be on YouTube sooner or later. I'm the Mad Pancaker, so you can find me there. So in order to establish a story with a movie, you have to build it up, so to speak. A lot of times they use a term like laying pipe. You have to lay pipe to get the water to, flow to a house type deal. If you lay too much pipe, it takes too long to get the story moving, and it really takes you out of the experience. The pipe for this movie to lay is an hour long, essentially, and an hour and 50-minute movie. So Corey Cunningham, so after this, he's kind of ostracized by the town and demonized. But, he befriends Laurie's granddaughter, this fake fucking romance that takes instantly. Yeah, fucking instantly they're in fucking love, and and it's an hour of Corey getting bullied and picked on and the town hating him to finally get to the point where he becomes a mass shooter, or in this case, knifing people, killing spree guy.
Well, he only got it by staring Michael Myers.
Yeah, that's the other thing. This movie, it's like, is this weird supernatural? What the fuck was... Yeah, Michael Myers is hiding in a fucking sewer this whole time. And it makes no sense. He's now an old, decrepit man, when in the last two... He's only 4 years older from that movie. He was 61 technically. He's 65 now. He can't be that decrepit of a 65-year-old, when in 61 he was fucking kicking everybody's ass and seemed like a supernatural killer. And now he's hobbled again. And I don't know if there's this weird killing people makes him stronger. Then why the fuck didn't he go on a rampage after Halloween Kills if all the killing made him stronger? Because he fucking massacred fucking 20 people at the end of that movie or whatever it was. Makes no sense. And then so they're buddy cops now, and like they go and kill people together. It's so fucking stupid. And then the ending, like it's such a fucking waste. Like like sadly, people actually like this movie. I don't know how. And people are like, but they wish they would have kept going with the Corey thing. And for people who wanted that, the big letdown is, oh, Corey goes out like a fucking bitch. It's fucking he ends up dying and wasted opportunity there. If you actually enjoyed this film up to this point. And then Michael finally comes back, and now you have the epic final confrontation with Laurie Strode, and it takes like 2 seconds for this to happen. The fight's over in like 2 seconds. There's no build-up. There's no epic final conclusion. This 70-year-old woman overpowers a fucking man, a 65-year-old man. Makes a lot of sense. Easily outstrengths him, not just outthinks him, it just outstrengths him. I mean, there's some thinking, but and apparently all you need to kill Michael Myers was to slit his throat and his wrist. No, the multiple gunshots that he took, the stabbings he took at the end of Halloween Kills, all that stuff.
Well, she stabbed him into the table.
He didn't bleed out, yeah, but after stabbing him in the table, she slits his throat,
His hands and stuff.
Yeah, slit his wrist, slit his throat, and, and he bleeds out and dies. And she does take the mask off, so it's like, oh, does the mask have power? Nothing's established in this. Like, none of it, it's so fucking stupid. They started out with this trilogy, they wanted to have grounded Michael Myers, be a little more realistic. Sure, he's tough, but he's real. Then in the second one, in Halloween Kills, they threw that out the window, and he's pretty much supernatural Jason Voorhees, unstoppable killing machine, doesn't matter what you throw at him, he can't die type deal. And then in the third one, now he's back to being grounded, decrepit old man, but some sort of supernatural. The movie's just a mess. It's all over the place.
I don't like the ending was horrible. Where they keep showing this grinder at this junkyard for grinding up cars and stuff. Yeah, kind of like Christine. And then they throw him into the fucking grinder at the end.
Like it was weird.
And I'm just like, all right, I know this grinder's gonna come up eventually. Just get to it.
They keep hinting at it. It's like they carry his body.
It's Chekhov's car grinder.
It's so weird.
Car crusher.
It's so fucking bad.
The only good thing is there's some actually decent kills in it. There's still some stupid deaths in it. Like they're gonna shoot Corey Myers and he ducks and like this fucking other guy gets shot. It's like whole stupid. It's like, have you idiots ever used a gun before? Like I said, there's some decent kills. Darcy, the mail girl from Joe Bob's Drive-In Theater, makes an appearance in it. She's the blonde that gets killed in kind of the background at the DJ station. That's a nice little reference. I wish she would have been in a better horror film than that.
Just a short little bit. Nick Castle does the some voiceover work for Myers breathing.
He's also in the film.
And he's also he's
one of the Halloween guys
the
at
party
the bar.
scene, which was really weird.
Yeah, there's, like I said, there's so much to talk about with that film, but we've already talked about it way too long. It's just so slow, it's plotting, and it's not worth the payoff. And it's also dumb because it's so totally different than the other two. That's my big gripe with it. And Halloween isn't even my favorite of the slasher franchises, so I'm not super, super invested in it. I've sat through all these crappy sequels beforehand and Rob Zombie remakes to get to this point where Halloween got decent a little bit again, then went downhill again, and now is back in the gutter again. So I'm not like, oh my god, it's the end of the world, Halloween Ends wasn't good. It's just like, stick with what you were doing type deal. So I don't know if it's like straight 0, but
it's a half for me.
Is it better than Chud? I think I'd rather watch Chud to that, and that's a slow plotting movie too.
I'd rather watch Hobgoblins than this.
Yeah, I'd much rather watch Hobgoblins.
Which I gave it the same score. I'm gonna give it a half.
I'd say.
You know why? On the basis,
this might be a 2 or a 1.
I'm gonna give this a half on basis on some of the Michael Myers kills, and then the score, because the score's class.
Yeah, I mean it's still got a good score, although there's a lot of like non-score.
And then also they didn't kill Will Patton's character. Because I like him.
Yeah, he's hardly fucking in the movie. Yeah. He might as well not even matter in the movie.
Deputy Hawkins.
Yeah.
That's his name. Okay.
Chud's a 2. This is probably a 1.5. I'm going to start there and may go lower in the future. It could work its way down to 0 just because it's one of those movies that leaves such a bad taste in your mouth. You just hate it. As I said, and I've said it before, it makes Halloween Resurrection look like Psycho. And not the remake with Vince Vaughn, Psycho, but, the OG Hitchcock one.
So I just want to do something real quick.
Sure.
So with this movie out, and how garbage it was, I'm going to increase my score of Halloween 2 as, what did I have before?
You had a 2.
I had a 2. I'm going to go up to a 2.5.
2.5?
Yeah.
All right, remind me, I'll have to adjust your thing in the rankings here. Anyway, so that's enough about that. I knew Hotcakes was going to go long just because of Halloween Ends. Kind of rapid-fired the rest of them, though, so that was good. It was a big film to talk about, so We had to talk about it. Any more hotcakes, Perry?
I am out.
You're out? Okay. Move on to something. They tried something different with Halloween Ends, and it failed. So, when you try something different and fail, stick to what you know and succeed. And that's what we got here with today's review of Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers. Came out in 1988. It stars Donald Pleasance, of course, returning as Dr. Sam Loomis. We have Ellie Cornell, Daniel Harris, making her, I believe this is her screen debut, Michael Pataki, Bo Starr, Kathleen Kinmont, Sasha Jensen, and then we have George P. Wilbur as The Shape. Sometimes. Found out from the documentary afterwards that was another stunt guy who was playing him for a little bit, but then left the production.
Oh, Tom Morga.
Tom Morga, yeah. He's him in a few shots.
Yeah.
I might have to adjust some things in my notes because I know what shots he's in now after watching the little documentary thing at the end. I didn't intend to watch the whole documentary, but then I did. It was one of those, I'm like, all right, movie's over, I'm getting ready to go to bed, let me watch this. And then like an hour later, I've watched the whole little behind-the-scenes documentary they put on this special edition. Music by Alan Horwath, with John Carpenter's original Halloween theme, of course. So Alan Horwath, his good buddy, returns for the score. Screenplay by Alan B. McElroy, and special effects by the late John Carl Beekler. Story by Donnie Lipsis, Larry Ratner, Benjamin Ruffner, and Alan B. McElroy, the screenwriter, of course. And produced by Paul Freeman, executive producer Mustafa Akkad. Still needs to make those Islamic biopics.
And his son.
Yes,
now
his son.
We'll take the Halloween franchise.
His son was a little bit in the documentary stuff.
Oh, was he?
Yeah.
Did Mustafa die? He might have
He passed away.
He passed away
Before 2018
Okay.
came out. I don't know when he officially passed away, but yeah, he's been gone for quite some time now. A few years at least. And directed by Dwight H. Little. So, read the back of the box here. He changed the face of Halloween tonight. He's back. The man behind the mask? No, wrong franchise. He butchered 16 people trying to get to his sister. He was shot and incinerated, but still the entity that Dr. Sam Loomis, the legendary Donald Pleasance, calls evil on two legs, would not die. Tonight, Michael Myers has come back again to kill. This time, Michael returns to Haddonfield for Jamie Lloyd, played by Daniel Harris. Also in 2009's Halloween 2 and The Last Boy Scout. Did you know she was in Halloween 2? Rob Zombie's remake, Daniel Harris.
Yeah, I think I read that.
Okay.
There, yeah.
Did you know beforehand, though? Before going into
No,
this?
I
Okay.
didn't know who she was.
Yeah, I knew that. I found out later on. I didn't know because I'm not too familiar with Rob Zombie's Halloween.
What does she play? This Lindsay, right? Or no? No.
I forget who she plays. She might play Lindsay. Yeah.
Oh no, Annie Brackett. Sorry.
Annie Brackett. Yeah, she takes over as the Annie Brackett role.
I don't know.
Well, I think that would also mean she's in the Halloween one then. I don't know. Or the
Sure.
Rob Zombie Halloween one. The orphan daughter of Laurie Strode and her babysitter Rachel, played by Ellie Cornell.
Yeah,
whose credits are Halloween 5, The Revenge of Michael Myers. Well, that's another good credit. And House of the Dead.
She's in both.
She's in both. Yeah, I don't know why they went straight to Halloween 2. I feel like you just went with Rob Zombies. Either way. Can Loomis stop Michael before the unholy slaughter reaches his innocent young niece? Michael Pataki, Sasha Jensen, and Kathleen Kinmont co-star in this smash sequel that marked the long-awaited return to the original storyline and remains infamous for its startling twist ending and graphic violence. Which actually, yeah, it was a smash sequel technically at the box office. It did well in returns. At the time, I think it was the highest grossing Halloween film.
I'll give it to you right here.
Yeah, tell me.
It's a
spin it
$5
on
million budget and made 17.8 altogether.
Which was the highest of any Halloween film at the time, right? Technically.
I believe so, yeah.
Oh, no, profit to margin ratio, if it was the best, but it brought in the most numerically.
Yeah.
Anyways, let's
I
roll.
think the first one made
Well, yeah, the profit to loss on that one was like phenomenal. We open with a title card, October 30th, 1988. The credits play over top of these shots of rural farmland for some reason, decorated with crappy Halloween decorations, as we get our title card, The Return of Michael Myers. I hope you all are happy, people. Because we could have had crazy different anthology entries.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, some of these
Maybe
sequels
could have been better.
Right, exactly.
After seeing
I mean,
Halloween
they
Ends,
could have
you're
been
like,
crappy. I've seen some crappy horror movies that are just, random
Nah.
one-offs.
Yeah.
But, there's some good Michael Myers entries, and then there's a lot of bad ones after this. So one weird shot for this is this like flat skeleton decoration put on the side of a rundown building. I put house in question mark. That looks like it has been abandoned. I'm like, who decorated? Who put this like skeleton, this like, this like jangly arm, like with the metal like tacks for the joints skeleton up there? I'm like, who put this on this like rundown house? The only thing is like maybe it's like just a rundown farm stable or something, because it's like the farmland. Then another has a hay-stuffed farmer's outfit, like a scarecrow, sitting in a tractor with a jack-o'-lantern head, but with an axe in its hands. What the fuck is this? Is this Jacko? Is this guy Jacko from Fred Olin Ray's 1990s slasher film? That's an interesting story. I've never watched that, but I do want to check out Jacko sometime. And he's got Linnea Quigley in it, so you know she's naked in a shower. Then we cut to a rainy night with a Smith Grove ambulance driving to Smith's Grove. Or no, they're driving not to Smith's Grove. They're driving to, what's the name of this place?
There's so many names.
I know, I accidentally wrote Smith's Grove down. Ridgemont Federal Sanitarium.
Yeah.
As our ominous score kicks in. They're headed to Ridgemont Federal Sanitarium to pick up who else but Michael Myers and transfer him back to good old Smith's Grove. So first off, how did he survive Halloween 2? No Cluedo. That's a reference. Did you know Clue is called Cluedo in Britain, where it originated?
I don't know.
Yeah, it's weird. I'll make another Cluedo reference. I thought it'd be funnier just to use that than just to say no clue. I guess this is another one of those jokes that I'm like over-explaining and ruining the joke, but oh well. My best guess is Connell Cochran sorcery. And oh man, so we have 2 mustaches better than Scary Perry's right off the bat, with the security guard and the ambulance driver.
You're insane. You get out of here.
So one of these 2 things is wrong. The ambulance says Smith Grove, all one word, but he says Smith's Grove, and that's what their staff badges say. This movie is already off to a great start. Who was in charge of continuity on this movie?
That would be
Dwight
Dwight H. Little or...
no, the director's usually not in charge of
probably
continuity.
Curtis Clayton, the editor.
There are some other continuity issues, which is kind of funny.
I'm sure.
I've learned from the documentary.
IMDb will...
So they're escorted to go retrieve Michael, and along the way they hear a scream, causing the one Smith's Grove staff guy to say, Jesus, and the security guard quips, Jesus ain't got nothing to do with this franchise. Place. And in the case you haven't watched the first 2 movies, the security guard fills you in with some elevator exposition on the ride down, because, why would you watch this one without seeing the rest in the franchise? According to this guy, Michael's kill count sits at 16, maybe more. And Loomis is back to shooting him 6 times, not 7 like in Halloween 2. And both of them nearly burned to death. How Loomis survived? Well, we already knew Jesus wants nothing to do with this place, so he jumped into the escape pod on Air Force One. That's another John Carpenter, Donald Pleasence movie reference. You know it?
No.
Escape from New York.
Oh, okay.
He's the president in that one.
Oh.
So yeah, it's the whole thing. The plane gets hijacked. They can't bust open the cockpit to get the hijacker, so he escapes on the escape pod into New York City, which is a prison. What I learned from the documentary is in the original screenplay, they had a writing. They actually wanted to shoot a scene showing how Dr. Loomis survived, so that way it wasn't just but they cut it, just pacing. They never filmed it. They cut it out of the script for pacing, and they figured it didn't need to be shown. And
yeah, I think
it had some mystery to it.
Read a little bit about that. Yeah.
Mick Elroy was talking about it, about his script, so it was kind of interesting. So Dr. Hoffman briefs them, not Loomis, because he missed the memo. That's also why he hasn't been putting cover sheets on his TPS reports. I think that one deserved a punchline. Oh, really? That's over your head?
I don't know what is a TPS.
I think he also, Dr. Loomis.
He TPS me.
I'm going to need you to come in tomorrow and work Saturday. Yeah. And also, did you get the memo about the TPS reports and the cover sheets?
Okay.
Yeah.
You don't sound like that guy at all.
I know. Lundberg.
Sweaty palms.
Well, Dr. Loomis, I need you to make sure you're attaching those cover sheets to those TPS reports.
I believe you have my stapler.
But the doc says his position is mostly ceremonial anyways, so he can sign off on it and send them on their merry way and be rid of both Michael Myers and Loomis for good. Then our Halloween theme kicks in as they wheel the comatose Myers out on a stretcher and load him up and drive off. The theme sounds as good as ever, so at least we got that right.
I like it.
Yep. So in the back of the ambulance, the one female doctor asked the guy doctor if Doc Hoffman said anything about any living relatives. And she conveniently fills us in that he has a niece living in his hometown. And this
I want to give you time, Meryl.
Sure.
Back to the theme song.
Sure.
They added synthesizers in it.
Yes.
Get some 80s love in it.
Oh, yeah.
All right, sorry.
Yeah, Alan Horwath, he does a good job with scores. Him and John Carpenter work together a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, so she conveniently fills us in that Michael has a niece living in his hometown. And this causes comatose Michael to clench his fist in rage. Note Michael's face is covered in bandages. We're only allowed to see his face so many times in this franchise, and we don't want to squander those mugshots, do we? Forget how many. You see him once in the original. I think you see him. I think he comes up in Halloween 5.
See him as a kid.
Yeah, I don't really count that, but I mean adult Michael.
And then you see him in
Halloween 1, and I think it's Halloween 5. Yeah, they never give you a clear shot even on Halloween Ends, though. That's why I'm saying you're not allowed to show.
Yeah, you kind of see
it. The franchise might be limited to 2 times.
They were good on the Halloween 2018, the way they filmed that.
Yeah, you only get a crappy side shot.
In the end.
you only get like a crappy
Yeah,
side
well,
shot.
I mean, it's
not
that
very,
that gives a mystique. That's
Yeah.
good cinematography. But anyways,
so
go ahead.
yeah, we don't want to waste those shots. I think it's like only maybe 2 times you get his full face in the franchise. So next we have our first Tempo magazine stinger as Michael comes to life and grabs the male doctor's face and slams it repeatedly into the side of the ambulance before we have kill number 1, forehead thumbprint. Michael jams his thumb into the doc's forehead. Wow, Michael must have been hit at the gym while comatose to put his finger through a man's skull. Maybe he learned it from Dick Warlock's assassin in Halloween 3.
Ah.
We cut to Danielle Harris in her house with her dog, looking out the living room bay window, all sad because Jamie Lee Curtis doesn't know who she is. Have you heard about this? I'm not going to talk about it on here, but look it up. It's kind of sad. It was like I don't know if it was like the premiere or after
Jamie
party
Lee
for Halloween Ends.
Curtis?
Oh yeah, you didn't? Yeah, about Jamie Lee Curtis and Danielle Harris. It's very interesting because like Jamie Lee Curtis doesn't really like acknowledge these films, as being good or recognize
She's
them.
not in here, brother.
Yeah, it's part of a joke.
All right, just tell me.
I'm making
later.
real life references.
I don't get it. You tell me later off camera.
Okay, look it up.
Mike.
It's you'll be able to find it. All you probably have to do is type in Jamie Lee Curtis and Danielle Harris, and you'll see that she kind of snubbed her.
Okay. Anyway, so
But she sees a Smith Grove ambulance outside. This is Jamie Lloyd and her sister Rachel. Sister in quotes because it's not her real sister.
this is confusing. You cast somebody that almost. You have Jamie Lee Curtis and Jamie. It's like similar, and then you start getting confused.
Yeah, it's so Rachel. So this is her foster sister. Rachel comes in the room and fills us in that they aren't real sisters. Jamie was adopted. Well, not adopted. She's foster parent right now, but moving towards adopting. But she doesn't love her any less. Wink, wink. So that comes up in a little bit. We get some more exposition that Jamie's parents died 11 months ago, and she used to babysit her when Rachel was her age. Yep, that's right. Jamie Lloyd is the daughter of Laurie Strode, and I'm assuming Lance Guest. I'm assuming that they hooked up
Ben
afterwards.
Tramer?
Oh no, Ben Tramer's dead.
I know.
I'm glad she was able to move on from Ben Tramer,
I know.
but I don't know if I want to live in a world where both Ben Tramer and Lance Guest died. Rachel takes Jamie back to her room because I'm assuming that, I don't know if it comes up yet, but Laurie Strode dies off screen in a car crash years ago.
Yeah, I know.
I'm assuming she hooked up with Lance Guest. That's a father because both her parents died in this car crash. So, like I said, I don't want to live in a world where Lance Guest is also dead and Ben Tramer. Rachel takes Jamie back to her room to go to bed and leaves. But in the room, the window is open with the wind blowing. The curtains and the storm continues on. Why is that window open? Jamie closes the window and opens her closet, taking out a shoebox and opening it to look at some of Jamie Lee Curtis publicity photos of her from Halloween. As she walks back to the bed past her dresser mirror, a flash of lightning illuminates the mirror, and we get our first glimpse of Michael Myers in the reflection. And oh boy, does he look stellar, if you can't detect the sarcasm there. As Jamie prays before going back to bed, the door to her closet creaks open. After investigating, she shuts the door, but it creaks back open after she walks away. When she goes to close it again, we got our second Tempo magazine stinger as a hand reaches out from under the bed and grabs her leg. She scampers away to her door, but it won't open. And from behind her bed, Michael pops up. And oh, geez, that mask.
Oh boy.
Then he stands up as she begins on the door for help, and lightning flashes again, giving us a good look at Michael's outfit. And oh god, those pads. So I guess we'll take a brief moment to talk about the mask and the pads here. So the mask, the hair looks really weird. I think it's probably on the box here. Yeah, it's like very smooth back hair. Kind of almost like in Halloween 2.
It's weird looking. It's like a bright white face.
Yeah. And I don't know if I want to talk about this here, but
Get any more on the mask? Let me see here. That's
but
not relevant
so yeah,
yet.
it's one of the worst looking Michael masks. It's also probably a no discredit to the people who worked in the film portraying.
Well, they
Michael
had
Myers.
to get the new mask because they lost their old mask.
Yeah, plus that
Which
thing was
was
so old and beat up by
Deborah
that
Hill
point.
like chain smoked with it
Yeah.
or whatever.
So no discredit to the actors, but this is probably one of the worst looking Michael Myers in the entire franchise.
Yeah, I think you're right.
There's some other bad looking ones, but this one's definitely in the top couple of them.
There's something later I'll explain later that he should have went with instead. I'll explain later.
Oh, okay. So, but anyways, so I don't know if you know about the mishap with the mask. So they got the mask from Dawn Post Studios. They had them do the original Shatner mask and mold of Shatner's face again and use that. But when the mask came back, they were like flesh-colored face with whitish, blondish hair. So they went back and they're like, hey, no, this is wrong. It needs to be white with brown hair. Because, they weren't going to just paint up a Shatner mask.
Yeah.
They were just going to have it made in the mold, but with, the white face and the actual proper color hair for Michael Myers. So they're like, okay, we'll fix it. So Dawn Post Productions, and no discredit to them. So next batch of masks come, they're exactly the same. They're like flesh-colored brown with blonde hair. So they had to rig up the mask to fix them. And that's why the mask looks bad. And one of the ways to fix the hair color, I think they probably might have tried dyeing it a little bit, but they slicked it back so it looked more brownish and hid some of the lighter color of it. Oh, there's a couple shots, which we'll get to.
Yeah.
And then, so the pads. So they, for some reason, they thought it was a good idea to put, I think it's hockey pads. It could be football pads, but I think it's specifically hockey pads to make Michael look bulkier. But it just looks like a guy wearing hockey pads underneath the jumpsuit.
God.
It looks bad. Like I said, no fault to the actors portraying Michael. They did a good job. It's just the look is bad. And the door finally opens, but Michael is on the other side with a kitchen knife. And man, I knew Michael Myers' powers ramped up considerably in these films, but being able to teleport or be in two places at once is a bit much. So her foster parents run down the hallway, in slow motion for some reason, to check on her. But it's all just a hallucination. Or a nightmare? I didn't know Freddy Krueger's involved. As she is in the closet clutching her Halloween memorabilia shoebox. They comfort her and put her back to bed, and then we cut to the next morning and we get a title card letting us know this is Haddonfield, Illinois. Gee, I couldn't have figured that out, movie. Thanks. It's also October 31st, 1988, Halloween. As we have a
Couldn't figure that out either.
Right?
Yeah, he said that.
Right? I mean, I knew a day passed, but as we have a school bus drive by, a bunch of kids running around, and a guy raking his leaves. Yeah, I know when Halloween is movie, they didn't move it out to May 8th all of a sudden. Those leaves sure seem dry for all the rain they had just had last night, too, because of the downpour thunderstorm.
Fact here, as they actually filmed this movie probably in May or in the summer, spring or summer, and they had to bring in leaves.
Oh, yeah, they do that all the time.
And then they got squash, and they painted them to look like pumpkins.
Nice. We cut inside the house, and the babysitter for the night has canceled, and it's too late to find another babysitter, so Rachel's going to have to babysit Jamie. But she protests because she has that big date with Brady tonight. I'm like, whoa, Handsome Tom's not even on the market for a month, and he's already making moves. Rachel makes a snooty and overdramatic retort about how not going out with Brady is going to ruin the rest of her life. To be fair, she has a point. How many chances are you going to get at landing the goat? But of course, Jamie overhears this, and downtrodden, she remarks that, I'm sorry I ruined everything. If I wasn't here, the franchise could have ended on a high note before walking out of the kitchen and going up to her room. Or that, if she wasn't here, she could have gone out. Whatever your closed captioning told you.
I mean, that's where they should have ended the movie right there and gone on to their, the different story.
But in all seriousness, Danielle Harris is one of the better child actors I've seen. She does a great job in these movies.
Yeah.
Feeling terrible about this, Rachel goes to apologize to Jamie and says that she'll make it up to her by taking her trick-or-treating. Is that all you think about for Halloween, Rachel? Have you learned nothing from the late Connell Cochran? Jamie is hesitant, but Rachel sweetens the deal by offering to pick her up after school for ice cream. And the shrewd negotiator that she is manages to get double scoops out of the deal.
Whoa. What kind of ice cream places
Everything's better with 2 scoops.
Open in October? I guess a lot.
Yeah, it just depends. We cut to the white hallways of Ridgemont Sanitarium. And we get our first glimpse of Dr. Loomis as he walks down the hallway to Dr. Hoffman's office with a noticeable limp and cane. Over the PA, there is a call, 7402 for Dr. Quinn. I'm sure this obscure reference for the first Halloween isn't going to come up in the next 2 sequels. He's walking with a cane, and his face is badly scarred from burns on one side. He confronts Hoffman about why he wasn't notified about them taking it out of here. The Hofster isn't having any of his speech and says that Michael is subject to federal law. Loomis counters that, we're not talking about any ordinary person, Hoffman. We're talking about evil on 2 legs. Hey, I did get some Donald Pleasance impersonation in here.
I like it.
The Hoff is still not interested, but then Loomis asks him, do you know what day it is? Do you know the date? Oh man, quickly going downhill on this Loomis impression.
Yes.
Yeah, Loomis, the title card already told me. He continues, every day I look at myself in the mirror, and every day I remember. Doc Loomis makes Hoff real uncomfortable by making him look at the awesome prosthetic scars on his face and hands.
Actually, I don't think I think they look bad, but that's my opinion.
They look pretty good. This one, the problem is, it kind of looks like an. Oh no, it does change.
Yeah.
So they actually did reshoots because during like the dailies, Loomis and his girlfriend were watching it, and they were drinking while watching it, and she said it looks like there's an egg on here. Egg on the face.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh my God, it does. So they reshot.
Here, yeah.
But when they edited, they accidentally left in some of the non-reshot, the original shoots. So it's still, like in this scene, there's the egg on his face. Like a boiled egg, or fried egg, rather. Oh, also his voice is kind of different in some of these scenes. Like he goes with a softer tone voice. I'm not as good at doing softer tone voice. I could do like creepy Loomis or like hysterical Loomis. So yeah, Doc Loomis makes Hoff real uncomfortable by making him look at the awesome prosthetic stars on his face and hand, finishing with he doesn't want anyone to have to live through that night again. But Hoff just retorts that he thinks he's the one that needs mental help. Yeah, he did agree to be in these sequels, so, I mean, I gotta agree with the doc there. The rotary phone rings and interrupts their conversation. An accident has occurred involving, you guessed it, the ambulance that was transporting Michael Myers. So Doc, Loomis, and Hoff go to the scene of the accident, wink wink, and this ambulance is upside down in a shallow river under a bridge. Loomis knows it's no accident, and he doesn't hesitate to wade into the river and investigate the inside of the ambulance. Also, we have kills number 2, 3, and 4, killed in a van down by the river, as they're presumed judging by the copious amounts of blood that the other 3 passengers are also dead. He quickly proclaims that he's gone. Don't you mean the evil is gone? Hoff says that Myers could have just been thrown from the bus. Why does everybody keep calling this thing a bus? It's an ambulance. Hoff also suggests that even if he were conscious, his muscles would be useless from lack of use while in a coma. But Loomis counters, you're talking about him as if he were a human being. That part of him died years ago. Just like the quality of this franchise. That deserves a boom ching. There we go. Since no one believes him, Loomis sets off alone on the 4-hour trip to Haddonfield. We cut to a mechanic's garage and a guy working underneath a car. And as he rolls out from under it, bandaged-faced Michael Myers is standing over top of him, and we have kill number 5, Prybard, as Michael Myers impales him with a giant pry bar. There's nothing...
crowbar.
That's a little too big to be crowbar. They call them pry bars when they're that big. I'm pretty sure.
Well, I don't know.
I kind of looked... I think I looked it up.
In your version, did they show him
No.
the kill?
I don't think so.
So
that's another thing that
it
they
was
cut.
Originally on screen, and they cut it.
Yeah, I know it got cut.
He stabs him in the throat with it.
Yes.
Yeah.
There was another one of those things cut to make ratings.
This director or whoever's in charge.
But yeah, I think when they're that, like,
They're like,
a giant
let's
one
cut
is like
this.
called a pry bar.
I don't know.
Like a crowbar is more like the handheld
Maybe that's
side.
why. I think
Because
you're right. I don't.
Because it also doesn't have like the curled end.
I'm not in the semantics of rods here. Okay.
I was originally going to call it a crowbar. I'm like, no, I think that's technically called a pry bar. Neither here nor there. A giant tool meant for bending things.
There you go.
Opening things up. It was nothing personal, buddy. He just needed to get his signature coveralls outfit off of you, complete with hockey pads. This kill, like the rest of the ambulance passengers, also takes place off screen. I hope this trend doesn't continue. Dr. Loomis pulls into this gas station / mechanic's garage called Penny's. Oh, sorry, I was looking out the window to see if I could see Donald Pleasance out there.
JC
Hey,
Benz?
there's some guy in a trench coat over there who's kind of bald. He might be out there.
I wonder if he's selling condoms.
What? He calls out, but no one answers, so it looks like this place is self-serve only. However, Michael is watching Loomis, and we get a POV shot from Michael's hiding place accompanied by some creepy music.
Is it a cave?
Baby. Well, we still do have the awesome Carpenter theme. Alan Hallworth, he's a good movie scoring guy. The score in this scene reminds me how generic a lot of the creepy music is in this movie. It's okay and effective, but not up to the standards of the earlier films.
Yeah, I'd concur with you.
Loomis goes to investigate the inside of the garage, but still can't find anyone, until we get a jump scare as the mechanic's corpse comes down suspended from chains. I'm not sure if that counts as a Tempo magazine stinger, as the accompanying music isn't very stingery, so I'm gonna not count it. Loomis heads into the diner, and he hustles as quickly as he can with his limping cane into the adjoining diner there. I'm like, wait, gas station? Diner? Is this place that we've been in all along Penny's?
Huh?
There sure are a lot of pictures of Honest Abe Lincoln hanging up on the wall just like Penny's. Was that Donald Pleasance that just walked in? Oh, wait, it was just somebody else.
Somebody walked in here? I thought we were the only
wait, it was
patrons
just,
here.
it was some
We're the
random
only
person.
fools to come to this
Right.
place, expecting something.
But this place is suspiciously empty. But after a quick search, Loomis finds kill number 6, dead Loris. He finds the waitress dead, perhaps strangled. If only I could find Dolores dead, it'd make my day. It's good to see Michael getting back to his roots and establishing that time-tested formula for ensuring he successfully kills his victims. So the diner's rotary phone is smashed, but there's a pay rotary phone. That's like the holy grail of phones there.
We got payphone?
We got payphone.
All right.
Unfortunately, the cord between the phone and receiver has been cut. Loomis catches a glimpse of Michael through the doorway to the kitchen, and he starts to have this deep conversation with Michael, telling him not to go to Haddonfield, and offers himself up as the victim to leave them in peace. But the doc quickly ditches the ruse and starts blasting away with his pistol, but Michael isn't there, and the Halloween theme kicks in. Now, how did Loomis not see Michael wasn't there when he started shooting? Did he teleport away, or just move really quickly off camera? Or was it like some sort of hallucination?
It has to deal with David Copperfield and Conal Cochran.
Maybe. Michael just has magic powers now. And it's really weird because he never took his eyes off him.
I don't know.
Maybe it was like Jurassic Park with the reflection on the stained steel glass.
Yeah,
it was like a
the
mirror. He wasn't really
Velociraptor.
there as a reflection. I don't know. Loomis heads outside looking for Michael, and right on cue, he bursts through the loading doors of the car garage in a tow truck. and Dr. Loomis starts blasting at the truck to no avail. Michael clips the fuel pump, sparking a fire that causes a Michael Bay explosion that engulfs Loomis's ride. Donald Pleasance's stunt double leaps away behind some barrels, and Michael drives off down the road to Haddonfield, and all Loomis can do is watch. Oh man, holy shit, look at the window. The pump just exploded at the gas station outside.
Shit.
Oh, the flames are spreading. Oh shit. Well, there goes the bathroom. You're going to have to find some other place to go to the bathroom, Perry, until they rebuild that gas station bathroom.
Oh my God. Don't give me this.
Man,
help.
that fire is just raging over there.
You know what they
Looks
should
like it's spread to like
they
some.
should put it out with the
electrical
stuff.
Transformers there.
Transformers.
Or the phone lines there.
That close to the gas station?
Yeah, that's a plot point. It's not. I think it's more a phone line than a transformer. But that's how later on when they can't call out of town. That's the reason why, because the fire spread. I feel like that was a little more of a detail than you needed for this type of movie, but I'm glad it's in there for continuity after I ragged on the continuity earlier between Smith Grove and Smiths Grove. Meanwhile, at Haddonfield Elementary School, Jamie is being picked on by the other kids for not wearing a costume. Really, it takes no effort, Jamie. All you had to do was just throw on a silver shamrock mask. They go with any outfit. And these kids are ones to talk, though. It looks like Dan Chalice bought these masks for them. One being a Frankenstein's monster and the other being a mask of Mask. You familiar with the 80s cartoon
Yeah,
Mask?
it was the robot ripoff.
Yeah. Because they're just like
Was
those,
it like a ripoff Transformers or whatever?
No, I forget who made Mask, but I think Hasbro owns the rights to all of them now anyways, because I know like they've done crossover comics with Mask and Transformers and G.I. Joe and stuff before. But yeah, they're just those cheap, like, they cover only the front of the face mask, you know, those little plastic ones that fold down over the face, like Dr. Chalice gave to the kids in Halloween 3. Maybe Doc Chalice adopted them after his kids' faces melted off after Halloween 3. Nah, he saved those kids. They're fine. They also pick on her for being the niece for her uncle being the boogeyman and Jamie being an orphan. Kids could be so cruel. Like when they spill peaches on your shoulder. That's right, I still hold a grudge.
But I'm not a bully, and I wasn't trying to bully you.
You're still a jerk. Anyways, then we
were friends. The fuck?
I'll never forget it. Just watch your back. Your inevitable demise is incoming. I mean,
you already killed me once.
Now I hope you don't die under like mysterious circumstances, because this will be out there. People will be like, that kid probably fucking killed his friend. Anyways, back to the story. So we then get a slow-mo shot of Jamie running away from all the kids as the taunts repeat over and over. Luckily, Rachel and her friend Lindsay Wallace, maybe? I think it actually might be Lindsay Wallace.
It's supposed.
I think it comes
it's supposed to be, but it isn't.
Yeah, it's I've heard them.
Yeah,
I've heard them go back and forth on this. It's not like it matters because she's not in the film after this. Group of scenes. Was it played by the person who played Lindsay Wallace as well?
No.
Okay, that's why I thought it was a different person.
Yeah.
They pull up just in time to pick her up. Lindsay's hairdo screams 80s, like this 80s giant poofy curly hairstyle. It's awesome. Now all of a sudden, Jamie wants to go trick or treating. Remember, kids, always give in to peer pressure. Wait a minute.
Huh?
It's also the perfect cover for them to go buy a costume from the discount mart and flirt with Brady. He's single and ready to mingle. So long, Giselle. Frankly, you're not shopping smart unless you're shopping at S-Mart, though, people. Come on now. We cut to some Halloween accessories at the discount mart, one of which has the label Living Nightmare. I see what you did there, movie. Some Spicoli wannabe is checking out some big-breasted blonde bimbo named Kelly, and Brady and his buddies bet him that he won't ask her out. We also get some exposition.
So, stop you right here. So he has two other friends. Mm-hmm. The one's Brady and the other one's Wayne. The third one is supposed to be Tommy Doyle. But once again, it's like the Lindsay Wallace thing.
Gotcha. Yeah, I think they do mention his name's Tommy, but
I don't know. This director's like, he's like, I want to do it. No, I don't want to do it.
Yeah, they'd be about that age now. So yeah, like I said, some Spicoli wannabe is going to ask this chick out. We also get some exposition that she's Sheriff Meeker's daughter. Brackett must have retired from the force and taken a security job at Haddonfield Memorial Hospital. Oh wait, wrong timeline. But Great Value Spicoli wipes out and gets rejected before he can even ask. It's sad times at Ridgemont High for him. Yeah, I worked in a sad times reference. My favorite pun. Rachel, Jamie, and Lindsay pull up in front of the discount mart, and it clearly says Vincent Drugstore. You mean the movie lied?
You know, they use this drugstore in the movie The Stand.
Oh, do they?
Yeah.
It's interesting. The original, not the... Because I know they did another miniseries later on.
No, it's the movie.
Recently, not too long ago.
Stephen King's The Stand. Well, 1994.
Yeah,
so,
I knew which one.
Yeah.
I forget. The new Stand was like exclusive to something. I forget which streaming service. However, in the foreground is the wench from Michael Myers' tow truck. Bum, bum, bum. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. I love shots like this with something in the foreground and the main scene going on in the background.
Yeah.
I love the effectiveness of setting up like the the foreshadowing and filling us in. Lindsay drops him off, and Rachel and Jamie go inside. Rachel lets Jamie go to look at the costumes while she breaks the bad news to Brady about their date tonight. Jamie enters the costume section of the store, but when she does, the ominous music kicks in as behind her on the pegboard is the discount mark equivalent of the Shapes mask. Seriously, it's not even worthy of being called the Great Value brand. Poor Halloween 4. It wasn't the film's fault. They also had to do it quickly because they didn't have time to, make more masks because they had to start shooting.
Okay, so here's the thing here.
Okay.
Well, actually, no, keep going.
All right. She takes a look at a bunch of masks that look a million times better than the Shape mask before perusing the costume rack. We also find out where foster parent Doc Chalice picked out that Frankenstein's monster's costume because it's on the rack too. $10 says that's the same one that the kid was actually wearing. I doubt there is no way the costume department could afford to have more than one Frankenstein monster costume. The music picks up again as she sees a clown costume, and it's perfect. So she calls for Rachel to come look at it, but she's too busy kissing Brady. Before he can quarterback sneak into the end zone, she breaks the news that she is stuck babysitting, cock-blocking Jamie. Brady gets a little frustrated and casually glances at Kelly, stalking the shelves. Foreshadowing, perhaps? Meanwhile, the dun-dun-dun score starts to play as Jamie checks out, that piano score from the first one. It starts playing softly over here as Jamie checks out her costume in the mirror, but we quickly cut to a close-up of the knockoff Shape mask, and a burnt hand reaches down and grabs it from the pegboard. However, Who would grab it at that angle? You know what I mean? Because it's like coming down from the top. He'd have to be like standing next to it and then reaching down backwards and grabbing it, or reaching over the shelf. It doesn't make sense. Michael's 5-figure discount game must also be on point here.
All right, so here, they saw it as a cutscene. Michael, he must grab this mask before that mask. He grabs a Pegasus mask, and then he throws it. They show him throw it away. I think he should have just wore the Pegasus.
That would have been hilarious. Oh boy. While Jamie is still looking into the mirror, the image changes to that of young Michael in the now blood-stained clown costume, gripping a knife. First off, this costume looks nothing like the original. And after reevaluation, maybe the kid kind of looks a little more like the kid from the original film, but I feel like he's still a little off. I thought his hair was originally too brown, like the others had a darker brown and this kid's was a lighter brown, but when they showed it during the documentary, I'm like, okay, I guess he kind of looks like him. He also appears as a trick-or-treater in some of the background shots when the kids are running around earlier. Jamie is startled by this hallucination and backs into another Tempo magazine stinger as she turns around to see Michael donning the terrible-looking mask, and then she screams, and she backs into the mirror and shatters it, bringing 7 years of bad luck to the franchise. Who am I kidding? More like 3 decades of bad luck. Oh, it just keeps getting downhill from here. Rachel and Brady rush to the scene, and Jamie tells them it was the Nightmare Man. Better than the Man in Black, I suppose. Ugh. Rachel takes her home, but not before we catch a glimpse of Michael's reflection in the shattered glass on the floor, accompanied by a Tempo magazine stinger. Maybe? It's kind of another one of those soft stingers. Remember Dr. Loomis? He's walking to Haddonfield in real time, and nobody will stop and pick him up. They've probably seen Texas Chainsaw Massacre and know it's best not to pick up hitchhikers. Some cheerleaders and a guy in a convertible stop, but just as he approaches, they peel out and literally leave him in the dust. It's only 119 miles. Maybe he'll make it to Haddonfield in time for Halloween 5. As he stands there, a rundown old jalopy pulls up to pick up Loomis. The driver is wearing worn preacher's clothes and sneezes into his hand before offering it to Loomis for a shake. It's okay, Loomis. I've heard Trixie is overrated. It's not that serious. Good old Trixie. I have to review that movie sometime. I do want to rewatch that movie soon. He introduces himself as Reverend Jackson P. Sayer, who recognizes Loomis as a fellow pilgrim on a quest. This guy and this scene is easily the best part of the film. While clearly he's not all there and can be a little creepy with his discussion, he's still very entertaining with his delivery here. He can see it in Loomis that he is hunting the same thing he is. When Loomis asks what the Reverend is hunting, he replies, "Apocalypse, end of the world, Armageddon," before taking a swig from the bottle of liquor. Oh, so that is what the Cult of Thorn was attempting. I thought they were just trying to have a better harvest or something. Sacrifice for a harvest. Crazy people back in the day. He follows it up that he's been hunting the bastard for 30 years. Unfortunately, the same can be said about the fans of this franchise. Maybe we should have just stopped 30 years ago. He finishes with, "You can't kill damnation, mister. It don't die like a man dies until you slit his throat and wrist and throw him in a grinder." What? That's what I heard too. I'm pretty sure that's what the closed captioning said too.
I think I pretty much saw that.
Loomis agrees with him, and the Reverend offers him a swig from his bottle. Hey, you already shook his hand. Plus, alcohol kills germs, so it should be safe. And then the Reverend breaks out a hymn and starts singing to Loomis's delight. I'm ready to watch the buddy movie all about these two going on adventures. I don't know about you. Like I said, easily the best scene in the movie. I love that preacher guy.
I saw it as clear as breast in blue suede shoes.
Yep. He's got some good lines there. We cut back to some eerie music at dusk in Haddonfield as kids run around TPing everything and trick-or-treating. Ah, the 80s, when there was no shortage of toilet paper. Rachel's parents are getting ready to head out, but someone is watching from behind the trees as they leave and watches Jamie and Rachel from the windows. While Jamie goes upstairs to change into her costume, Rachel calls Brady, but he's still at work. Work, that's what we call it now. So Rachel and Jamie head out trick-or-treating, but back inside, we get a POV shot as Michael walks up the stairs in Jamie's room and finds the Jamie Lee Curtis Halloween memorabilia shoebox on the floor. He rummages through it, dismissing the pictures of Jamie Lee Curtis, and not too impressed with what I assume is a picture of himself when young, but grabs a picture of Daniel Harris atop not Lance Guest's shoulders. So there is a chance that the galaxy's only hope against Zur and the Codain... Codain? Is that how you pronounce it? I don't know. It's been a while since I've seen this movie. And the Codain Empire is still alive? Also, did you know that Dan O'Herlihy is in The Last Starfighter? There's another Halloween franchise reference there.
Oh.
Yeah, he plays the alien guy that's his like co-pilot. I always forget that, but after I think of the voice, yeah, he does sound a lot like him. So Michael already has plenty of Jamie Lee stuff for his Halloween collection. He really needs a signed photo of Daniel Harris to complete his collection, though, so he snatches that. Dr. Loomis arrives at Haddonfield Sheriff Department, but when he inquires about speaking to Sheriff Brackett, he is informed that he has retired and now Meeker is the sheriff. Loomis tells the sheriff that Michael has escaped and is in Haddonfield, though Meeker is skeptical because Michael was an invalid last he knew. Loomis insists that he is here to kill Laurie Strode's daughter, but the sheriff dismisses it. Then Donald Pleasance cranks it to 11. 6 bodies, Sheriff! That's what I've seen between here and Ridgemont. A filling station in flames. Whoa, buddy. We're in America. We call it a gas station. Crazy Brits and their weird names for things. The sheriff decides to have his team check it out, but they can't get long distance because the lines are down. From the gas station explosion earlier, like I said. So the plan is to find Jamie and get her someplace safe, so Dr. Loomis and the sheriff head out to find her. Back with Jamie and Rachel, they are having a good time trick-or-treating and even join up with a group of trick-or-treaters, including Frankenstein Kid who thinks her costume is really cool. See, what did I tell you about giving in to peer pressure earlier? Makes you popular, kids. Wait, that's a bad roll.
What?
Anyways, but the mediocrely suspenseful score kicks in because Michael Myers is watching from the corner of a house. The group of kids go up to the next house, and it just so happens to be the Meeker's place, and Kelly is passing out candy. But, Brady comes downstairs after taking the Browns to the Super Bowl, and Rachel sees him. In his defense, Kelly's rack of footballs is bigger. But wait, doesn't Brady like his footballs deflated?
Oh boy.
Tom Brady jokes just keep coming. Rachel walks away upset, and Brady runs after her to try to explain why he's alone at the house of another girl who is only wearing a shirt that says "Cops do it by the book" and panties. Brady, just cut your losses. Nothing you say is going to be able to fix it and smooth this situation over. They argue, and she storms off, so Brady decides a dick in the bush is worth 2 in the hand and goes back inside with Kelly. Meanwhile, Jamie runs off with the other trick-or-treaters and gets separated from Rachel, who can't find her. Next, we cut to the inside of a bar where party dog Spuds McKenzie is chilling out. So they got a little like ceramic or plastic Spuds McKenzie light up thing in there.
Yeah.
I miss Spuds McKenzie. Bring back Spuds McKenzie. I know the dog's dead by now, but get another dog that looks like it. That would be a great commercial.
Stepfather has a...
I think they bring him back recently in a commercial not too long ago.
Maybe.
Or what were you saying?
My stepfather has a sign, a Spuds McKenzie.
Oh, that's awesome.
Light up sign.
That's cool.
Yeah.
There's a newscast playing on the TV, informing all businesses to shut down and everyone to remain in their homes. The bar owner and patrons are suspicious of what is going on, so he calls the police station, but no one answers and it just rings. The 80s, when answering machines were a luxury. Earl, the bar owner, concludes that something must be up since the phone never just rings at a police station. So him and his drunken yokel patrons hop in their trucks and head to the police station to investigate. Man, Haddonfield sure got a lot more rednecky in 10 years.
Yeah.
Loomis and the sheriff arrive at Jamie's house, and upstairs Loomis finds the Jamie Lee shoebox has been rummaged through. He concludes that Michael has been here. Not from that, but because the family dog is dead in the closet accompanied by a soft tempo magazine stinger. Michael must have gotten hungry again. No? Also, can't anybody read the no boy sign aloud that is on the door? The sheriff tells Officer Better Stash and Scary Perry to stay there in case the family returns.
No.
And him and Loomis head out to find Jamie. We then cut to electric employee Bucky My Mustache is better than Scary Perry's, working back to back, man, working at a power station. But he sees Michael Myers is watching him from behind this guy's truck and tells him he can't be here.
It's called a substation.
Is it a substation?
Yes.
I'm calling it a power station.
Substation.
Anyways. And also, I think this Bucky guy, he was like the prop master or something, I think I learned behind the scenes. I don't know if the actor was, but that's why the name Bucky is on the helmet. He probably was the prop master too.
I don't know.
Neat little reference there. So the guy tells Michael he's going to call the cops and walks away, but Michael grabs the guy and we have kill number 7. Some like it hot. Including Michael, because he throws the guy into a transformer and he gets electrocuted.
It's like a wrestling, just like.
You see the reference I did there? Power Station, Some Like It Hot.
Oh,
Yeah, man. Yeah, Power. You remember band Power Station?
Yeah, went over my head. I like it.
Yeah,
That's why you're so adamant on Power Station.
Yeah, exactly. I'm making
I didn't know.
Music reference.
You know what? Given the peer pressure.
Don't piss in my Cheerios here, man.
Well, I didn't know what Cheerios were going on.
Which also conveniently knocks out the power in town, making it super spooky now. Back at Trick or Treat, adults start to pick up their kids in cars to take them home, heeding the news report's warning. But Rachel's still walking around and can't find Jamie, who's also alone and looking for Rachel. As Rachel searches, she sees a man coming out of the fog. It isn't a zombie ghost. Yes, it isn't a zombie ghost pirate, but instead it is the Shape. God, those shoulder pads look terrible. Quit showing them, please. She makes a run for it and climbs over a chain link fence as Michael slowly approaches. Back with Jamie, she hears some rustling in the bushes and she calls out to them and tries to scare them off by saying that she has a big dog with her that bites. The only thing that dog is biting, though, now is the dust. Rachel runs onto the scene and scolds Jamie for going out on her own alone. If you weren't so obsessed with your relationship drama and been doing your job, Rachel, you wouldn't have lost her in the first place.
So does Jamie in this part scream?
She might have screamed, I'm not sure. I didn't write it down.
Okay, because there's a point where she's because she's in the neighborhood and she starts screaming and somebody legitimately in the area when they were shooting it called the cops.
Oh, that's kind of funny.
Yeah.
Our A and B plots finally meet up as the sheriff and Dr. Loomis arrive on the scene in their police cruiser. As they hurry them to the car, the score cues us in as we see Michael Myers standing next to one of the houses watching them, and Loomis catches sight of him. But as they get ready to draw their guns, Sheriff Meeker sees another Michael flanking them by another house. Then another comes from the other direction. Wait, so there's more than one killer now? Are we sure we didn't put in Halloween Ends by mistake here?
What we got here, boys, is a Ben Tramer standoff.
Surrounded by Michael Myers, Loomis points his gun at one of them, but the kid removes his mask and says not to shoot. It was just a bunch of kids pulling a false scare. They laugh and run off, and the sheriff yells at them to get home. Yeah, didn't you kids learn anything from the death of Ben Tramer? When are they going to learn? Never dress up as Michael Myers unless you want to get accidentally killed.
Was that like a discount drugstore rolling in the profits from his mask or something? Jeez.
They roll out to head back to the police station, but not before we get another Tempo magazine stinger as Michael stands on the road watching them drive away. Where's Corey Cunningham and his motorcycle transportation when you need it? So that way Michael can hustle around town, because that's the only way that he could have been getting anywhere in that movie. Let's not talk about that movie. I hope I have no more references.
About that movie.
I hope I have no more references in it.
It's going to leave you there forever.
Inside the police station, we see the aftermath of the carnage that Michael Myers has wrought, with blood splattered everywhere and chairs overturned and debris everywhere. Sheriff Meeker says they wouldn't have given up without a fight, but Loomis replies, they didn't know what they were fighting. Searching around, we find kill number 8. I could have used a hand. An officer lies dead on the ground with his arm sticking through the rungs of the banister, his hand severed. Really solid looking effect. Looks pretty cool. Now, I'm not going to award any other kills here because I don't know how many police were actually in this place. I don't feel like going back through the scenes and counting. So there's going to be some extra kills thrown in at the end as padding.
Let's see what you get. I have a number. Let's see what you get.
Well, it never shows the other bodies of any of the police officers. So we don't know how many were in there and how many died. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The sheriff asked Loomis,
so what are you at right now?
We're at 8.
All right.
So the sheriff asks Loomis, how can a man do this? And Loomis answers, it isn't a man. The sheriff follows this up with, what the hell are we dealing with? And Loomis has just one word for him, evil. As they head back outside, the Earl and his redneck brigade arrive in their trucks and want to know what is going on. But the sheriff tells them it's none of their business and to go home. But Earl counters that looks like the sheriff is out of business. Oh, good one, Earl. Loomis interrupts the rabble and tells them it was Michael Myers. He's come home to kill. The sheriff tells Earl to let the police handle it, but Earl and his posse aren't going to let the police bungle it again. Someone chimes in that Al lost his boy to Michael Myers 10 years ago. So maybe this guy Al is the father of Paul? Or Bud, the hospital guy? The one in the hospital, the Amazing Grace guy? Or maybe he's the father of Dr. Mixter? Or security guard Garrett? Those are the only male characters that die in that movie, other than the random mechanic that died. Let us know which one of those 4 you think it is that got killed, that this guy is the father of. The father of Dr. Mixter. That's funny. So Earl is going to fry his ass, and his group of drunken yokels head off to hunt Michael Myers. I hope they have the proper hunting license to hunt a serial killer. Wonder how much one of those costs. Do you think they have one of those to hunt a serial killer? No? Probably just be like a bounty hunter, but either way, neither here nor there. Sheriff Meeker scolds Loomis for creating a mob, but Loomis counters that he doesn't have a police force, and these men are the last line of defense for Haddonfield. God help us all. As an aside, this is a big departure from Loomis's strategy in the first
Wait. You know what you do here? You call in Paul. No. Paul Servini's.
Oh, yeah.
His militia.
Paul Servino.
Sorry.
That's all right. So, yeah, this is a big departure from Loomis's strategy in the first Halloween, where he says they'll see about every street corner, behind every bush. What made him change his mind? Perhaps it's the different circumstances, or maybe because it didn't work the first time. Plus, I'm sure people are going to love this movie so much that they will steal the angry mob plot point for another lackluster sequel in the future.
Yeah. No.
Anyways, back to the movie. The sheriff says, God help us. Hey, I already said that, Meeker. Try and keep up. Meanwhile, Officer Better Stash heads back to his cruiser to radio into Meeker, and he tells Stash to head back to his place, and they will call the state police from there.
Hey, state police.
But as this happens, the ominous music kicks in again, and we pan back to see Michael's charred hand as he lays in the back seat. And that's why you heed Michael Cera's advice and always check the back seat. It's one of the rules from, you get that reference?
I don't know what movie.
I think Zombieland, the rules, you check the back seat,
it's been a while
buckle up, check your mirror.
I got you.
Cardio, and all that fun stuff.
Okay, I get you.
So the officer, he rolls out just as the parents come back home, wondering where Rachel and Jamie are. Back with the hunting posse, they think they've spotted Michael Myers hiding in some bushes by a gazebo and speed off towards it, quickly dismount, and take aim and empty their guns when they hear the bushes rustle.
Smart.
But upon closer inspection, it isn't Michael Myers, but Ted Hollister. Whoops. Oh no, not Ted Hollister. Wait. Who the hell's Ted Hollister?
Does he own that clothing company?
I feel like I have no vested interest in this character because there's no previous setup in a previous film to him.
They're like, make a generic name.
At the Meeker residence, Brady is about to score with Kelly, but the sheriff and the crew arrive just in time to cockblock and intercept him. Unfortunately, while Kelly removes her top, she's quickly covered up before we can see her giant rack during this dry hunt.
This is just a total letdown for me at this point.
A bit, yeah.
This movie just...
The best we get is some side boob when she hurries to put her shirt back on.
Disinterested now.
The sheriff and company head inside, and Meeker orders the group to start locking the doors and windows, while Loomis goes to use the radio to contact the Stadies. The sheriff gives Brady a gun and a toolbox and tells him to secure the attic so no one can get in. He also adds if he catches him fooling around with his daughter, he'll use that shotgun on him. I'm sure he just means like a shotgun wedding,
Yeah.
No, nothing violent there. It's not going to blow his balls off or anything. Deputy Better Stash heads back to his car to get his shotgun, but finds the back door mysteriously open and accompanied by creepy music. He continues on and grabs the gun and heads back inside. Meanwhile, Brady checks up on Rachel and Jamie and asks if they are all right and what's going on. Rachel tells him it's Michael Myers, but he replies, who? The guy who played Austin Powers. Oh wait, wrong Michael Myers. Rachel fills him in that he was the killer from 10 years ago and is Jamie's uncle. Jamie starts sobbing, and Brady decides that's his cue to leave this uncomfortable situation, says he's going to be in the attic. I feel like that's a cue for us to take a brief break. So we'll be right back after this break. And we're back.
A dinosaur story.
Better delivery this time than the second time you used that one. So upstairs in the attic, Brady hears the wind blowing through an open window, and a floor creaks. Nothing suspicious about that.
Something about this movie and windows being open.
Yeah, right. When he goes to investigate, a door slowly swings open, but it's a fake out as no one is in there. With all the doors and windows secure, the front door is deadbolted, and now the front door is their only way in or out, and the deputy is on door guarding duty. In the basement, they radio for the state police, but only Static answers back. Eventually, though, Meeker manages to get a hold of the state police, who say they will send some troopers out ASAP. So now we play the waiting game. Waiting for Michael Myers to show up and kill them all, or waiting for the state police to arrive and save the day? Loomis goes and informs the rest of them that they have contacted the state police and they are on their way. The deputy replies, hell of a night, and Loomis quips, it's not over yet. Loomis is going to head to Rachel's house, thinking that's where Michael will be, but the deputy says to leave him for the state police. Loomis counters, they won't know how to stop him, but the deputy counters right back, asking if Loomis knows how. Loomis solemnly replies, maybe nobody knows how to stop him. I've got to try. Before heading out into the night. See, Loomis, all you have to do is have Busta Rhymes say, trick or treat, motherfucker, and that'll effectively kill the franchise for 5 years. Although that didn't work, so what you really need to do is have Rob Zombie direct 2 questionable entries in a reboot timeline, which will kill the franchise for another 9 years.
No,
so I guess what you really need to do
is try to make Christine 2 into a Halloween movie.
Yeah, what you really need to do is ignore all the other sequels and just throw them in the trash. Just like that. And just slit Michael Myers' wrist and throat and throw him in a car compactor /grinder. Huh, it all sounds so easy when you say it out loud. In the kitchen, Rachel and Kelly have a little spat about Brady. Kelly defends herself, saying that he isn't married anymore and has to do what's best for her. Rachel shoots back, "Don't you mean what you do best?" Zing! I also feel like that's a time for a scandalous sitcom play track. Ooh, you know, like when they play the sitcom track stuff.
Yeah.
Kelly tells her to wise up or she'll lose more men to other women. In response, she grabs a cup of coffee and splashes on Kelly's shirt. In the basement, Sheriff Meeker hears the posse over the radio talking about how they accidentally shot and killed Ted Hollister and decides he has to go stop them from killing another innocent bystander. So he puts Rachel in charge of listening for the word from the state police that they are on the way. While I'm sure having one more person leave the house and weaken its defenses isn't good for the chances of those inside surviving, I'm sure it'll help guarantee that Sheriff Meeker survives this movie. So I think originally he was supposed to die in the original script of the movie.
Yes. Okay, so yeah, he was.
It was supposed to be this big climactic scene with this house on fire, from what I heard.
Yeah, I'll explain later.
I know one thing, they couldn't afford the fire. That was too much
so
for the budget.
like, there's some roof scene coming up. The roof was actually supposed to be on fire during this scene.
Yes. Yeah, the house.
And then Meeker was supposed to die, but they didn't have enough budget.
Right, to shoot the entire house in flames thing.
Yeah.
That would have been a big special effects type thing to pull off.
Michael Bay.
So the dirt score plays dirt. As Big Tits Kelly brings Deputy Bear Stash some coffee and tries to chat him up, but he ignores her. Not suspicious at all. When she lights a candle, we have another Tempo magazine stinger, and it's revealed that we have kill number 9. I can't work out this kink in my neck. The deputy's corpse lies on the floor with his head twisted backward. But who's in the chair? Can't you tell by those awkward, overly bulky shoulders and broad shoulders? That's George Wilbur! Actually, I think this is where my notes are wrong. I think from the documentary, this is still Thomas Morga, right? Mm-hmm. I'm like, whoops. I'm like, well, I'm leaving it in. He stands up with the deputy's gun in hand, and the Halloween theme kicks in. He levels the gun at Kelly. But is he going to shoot her? Hell no, don't be ridiculous. Michael Myers doesn't shoot guns, so instead we get kill number 10, gut shot. He rams the shotgun into her stomach and impales her to the wall.
I think this is one of Michael Myers' best kills.
It is really good.
Yeah.
I know it doesn't show anything except the aftermath. I think it might show her pinned to the wall later on when they go to run upstairs, but yeah, it doesn't there's no blood or anything. He just rams it through. You see the shotgun coming through the wall on the other side of the wall. Yeah, really cool kill. I like this kill. I reference it a lot. Meanwhile, Rachel gets word from the state troopers that they are dispatching cars in 5 minutes, with an ETA of 35 minutes. You mean I have to watch 35 more minutes of this horrible-looking, super smooth hair, overly bulky Michael Myers? Maybe Tom Brady can end the Halloween franchise. Rachel goes upstairs to share the good news, but finds the deputies and Kelly's corpses, screams, and runs upstairs to get Jamie. But she's missing. She heads back downstairs, and we get another Tempo magazine stinger as we get a Brady QB sneak jump scare, and he asks what's going on. She wants to find Jamie, but he thinks they should get out of there. But the key is gone, so he shoots the lock, but for some reason, because the lock is metal, they can't get out and are trapped inside. That sounds like the weakest plot convenience I've ever heard. I feel like the door was probably supposed to be on fire, so they had to go to the roof. That was probably the real reason, and then they had to rewrite it. Because it's just like a normal door lock, a deadbolt, so I don't know. I imagine it's probably hard to shoot through metal. Like, it's not like shooting off just like a master lock on something. But I still feel like at that point, he shot off the key part. He could have at least tried to kick it down at that point.
Okay.
Neither here nor there. It's still kind of weird, though. So they run upstairs, and out strolls Jamie. But now that all three of them are together, Michael finally stops Dick Warlocking around and walks by the fireplace. Brady goes to shoot him, but he has to reload because the dumbass fired both shots and is double-barreled into the door. As the tense score kicks in, Brady tells him to keep heading upstairs while he reloads to slow down Michael, who is already moving painstakingly slow up the stairs towards him. And I feel the tension in this scene is entirely artificial, as dumbass Brady in the shotgun just stands in the pocket instead of scrambling and reloading on the move. By the time he does reload, Michael is already upon him, ready to sack him. He tries to shoot Michael, but as he tries to bring it around and pull the trigger, the barrel is past Michael's arm, and it just hits into his arm, and Michael throws him into the wall as he shoots. And a last-ditch Hail Mary, Brady grabs the shotgun and swings it at Michael. On the second swing, Michael grabs the gun and smacks Brady in the face with it and tosses it aside. Brady then takes a few swings at Michael, but he grabs his fist in his hand, then grabs Brady by the neck and lifts him off the ground, and we have kill number 11. Brady retires. Permanently. Michael crushes Brady's skull off screen. It was better when Robot Dick Warlock did it. Who knew all it took to end Brady's career was Michael Myers? Maybe if we have Tom Brady star in a Halloween film, he can end Michael Myers' career once and for all? If anyone can do it, it's the GOAT. Rachel and Jamie run to the attic.
Hold on a sec. I got a
Sure.
fact here. Not a fun fact, but fact.
Oh, fact.
During this fight scene, when they originally filmed it, a gaffer got hurt when he accidentally dropped a light on himself, slitting his wrist.
That sucks.
But I think it was okay. So,
Yeah.
obviously.
Yeah, that stuff, it's metal, so it's sharp. It can cut you.
That's dangerous.
So Rachel and Jamie run to the attic, but not before Rachel stops and says, "Leave us alone." Yeah, I'm sure that'll make him go away. That's the one thing they never tried in the franchise, is say, "Leave us alone, go away." Maybe if they would have just asked nicely and, been pleased, maybe that would have stopped Michael Myers. So that's all he ever wanted, was somebody to say please to him. I don't know.
Maybe.
They start to throw junk down the stairs to impede Michael's path before making a break out the attic window. These mostly empty cardboard boxes prove to be just a minor inconvenience for Michael as he makes his way to the attic landing and manages to find a random kitchen knife lying around. How convenient. Also, who keeps a knife lying around in the attic? That just seems totally unsafe. It's not even like packaged or put away or like wrapped up or anything. It's just,
You know who does?
It's sticking in a pot.
A damn sheriff does.
Yeah. Rachel breaks the glass on the window and they head out onto the roof with Jamie riding piggyback. We get the customary looking over the side of a roof shot to show how far down a fall it will be when they go off the edge. They climb the roof, but just as they near the roof's peak, we get a Tempo magazine stinger as a shingle gives way and they slide down the roof, saved only by grabbing onto a pole on the roof. I think it must be some sort of exhaust pipe. I don't think it's like a lightning rod. It's not a chimney because there's a chimney later.
I have a fact on here.
About how, I already know this. I heard it in
So
the
Rachel,
documentary.
When she was filming this part, she cut her stomach on a nail sticking out
Yes.
of the roof.
Yeah. So yeah, she had to get patched up if I remember correctly. So they start climbing again as the Halloween theme continues to play, and Michael finally appears again, climbing over from the other side of the roof, and Jamie screams. So the new game plan is for Jamie to climb down to the chimney, but as Rachel lowers her there, Michael attacks with his knife, forcing Rachel to roll out of the way and Jamie to slide to the chimney while Rachel rolls toward the chimney and slams hard into it. Michael stands up on the peak of the roof, and you can clearly see the bulkiness of the pads under his suit again. And like I've said before, it just doesn't look good. Rachel takes some wire running to the TV antenna and ties it around Jamie's waist to lower her to the ground. But Michael approaches and attacks again, forcing Jamie to roll uncontrollably out of the way and allowing Jamie to drop several feet before the cord catches her, leaving her dangling halfway down the side of the house. Rachel rolls over the side of the roof and grabs onto the gutters. She tries to shimmy over away as Michael tries to stab her hands. She eventually lets go before Michael can slice her and plummets to the ground. Meanwhile, Jamie manages to grab onto the side of the house and climbs down to the ground. She rushes over to Rachel, shaking her, crying and begging for her not to be dead. But then the Halloween theme kicks in as Michael appears in the background, slowly approaching, and then stops for some reason.
How did he get down so fast?
He's like a ninja. Dude, he can teleport now. We're in full supernatural mode. Jamie screams and runs away, ditching Rachel. She's not her real sister anyways. Forget about her. Just keep running, kid. She runs and shouts for help, with Michael slowly walking in pursuit. The music goes silent as the coast is clear for now, and Jamie runs away looking over her shoulder, which sets her up for another Tempo magazine stinger as Dr. Loomis gives her a jump scare and grabs her. Jamie wants to go home, but Loomis was just there and says that's the first place he'll look, so they will go to the schoolhouse for reasons. They get to the school and Loomis shoots off the padlock and they head inside. See, that padlock, not as good made as that deadbolt from earlier.
Yeah.
Actually, I think he hit the chain and that could take it off. It's neither here nor there.
I feel like that's extremely dangerous to do, but okay.
Yeah, it's one of those things. I don't wonder if Mythbusters
You
ever
don't like any
did a test on that.
blowback.
Yeah, I wonder if Mythbusters ever did that. Can you shoot a lock off? And they get into the school, but this sets off the alarm. Nope, no way Michael will find them now with that alarm blaring. As they look around and try the doors to different rooms that are locked, Loomis reassures her that they will hear the state trooper siren soon. She asks if they will be safe, and Loomis lets out a bit of a chuckle and says, yeah. Jamie pushes the issue, though, saying, you don't believe that, do you? And Loomis, downtrodden, speaks the truth. No. All of a sudden, we get a Tempo magazine stinger as Michael Myers bumps into Loomis and grabs him and throws him through the glass of a door. And that's that's the last we're going to see of Loomis for a little bit. He's going to disappear from this film for a little bit.
I think it was this shot.
Yes, I have it in my notes here.
This is when they had the masking with the blonde hair.
Yes, and I think it still has a bit of the brown showing as too.
Yeah.
So yeah, I have in here the mask is different in the shot. The hair is blonder and messier, but it reminds me a lot of the Ben Tramer mask because his hair was all spiked up and a little bit blonde in his version. So is this the ghost of Ben Tramer coming to take his revenge on Loomis for his death caused by Loomis?
Maybe.
Jamie runs and tries several doors to find an escape, but they are all locked. Still crying, she slowly walks and looks around, and when she glances up the stairs, she gets Tempo magazine stingered again as Michael is standing on the stairs, back to smooth brown hair. Jamie screams and runs, but trips and falls down the stairs, and Michael pursues her. I like the cinematography of the shot, looking up the stairs and just kind of seeing the shot of his legs, but maybe it was just done to hide those bulky pads, or maybe they had the wrong mask still and they didn't touch them up.
Like, God forbid, don't film that damn mask.
Right. Jamie tries to crawl away, but she gets Tempo Manga stingered again as Michael reaches out and grabs her leg. But Rachel comes to the rescue and blasts Michael with a fire extinguisher, allowing for them to escape. Outside, the redneck hunting party hears the school's alarm and pulls up to investigate just as Rachel runs out carrying Jamie. They initially want to go in to get Michael Myers, but they think better of it and decide to let the troopers handle it and get out of Dodge and load up into the truck and drive out of Haddonfield. On their way out of town, they pass the state troopers' cars, and they give a redneck salute shooting their guns in the air. One trooper stops to talk to them. The posse tells them Myers is in the school and they are all taking these kids to safety. The trooper directs them to a substation down the road for safety and they head off. Earl tells the kids they're going to be okay, but the ominous score begs to differ. And right on cue, we get a Tempo magazine stinger as Michael's hand reaches over the back of the pickup truck's bed and he climbs aboard, leading to kills number 12 and 13, roadkill. Michael slices and dices 2 of the rednecks before throwing them out of the back of the pickup truck. Next we have kill number 14, can you fly, Bobby? As Michael tosses the last hillbilly off the side of the truck onto the pavement. Man, how many different movies am I going to reference for this?
I have no clue.
Then we get another Tempo magazine stinger as Michael's hand crashes through the driver's side window and we have kill number 15, dead end. Michael claws at Earl's neck with his fingers and peels his head back with blood gushing out. This is a pretty sweet kill. I can't help but think if Earl would have just moved to Crystal Lake with his cousin Enos, he would have just died to Jason Voorhees instead. Oh wait, that's not as good as that. I like to think this Earl character is the cousin or something of that Enos, driving his truck,
Yeah.
They look kind of similar, you just throw a hat on him. Yeah, he should have just went to Crystal Lake and would have been safe, except probably would have just eventually died to Jason Voorhees instead of Michael Myers. Rachel grabs for the wheel and shoves poor Earl's corpse out the door as Michael clings to the roof of the car as the Halloween theme kicks into full gear as the climax ramps up. Michael grabs at Rachel through the window, and she does her best to try to swerve back and forth to throw Michael off the truck's roof. Michael bangs his horrible-looking dummy head into the windshield and cracks it, causing Rachel to scream at how bad it looks. It just looks, because it's obviously like a dummy head or something, and they just slam it into there.
Yeah.
So it kind of flattens against the glass. It doesn't retain like a round shape. It just looks really weird. I'd say that's one of the few effects that's not up to snuff in this. The gore effects are all fine, though. Finally, she slams on the brakes, causing Michael to be thrown from the truck. But he is tub-thumping because he gets back up and is never going to keep him down, and in all of his awkward padding, turns to face the truck. Rachel yells, "Smile, you son of a bitch," and blows up the shark? No, that can't be right. Oh, yeah, wrong movie. Oh, yeah, she says, "Die," and then floors it and runs into the terrible-looking cousin of Andrew McCarthy's girlfriend dressed up as Michael Myers. Hey, I'll give them credit. At least they were consistent and put pads on the mannequin. Michael goes flying through the air, through a fence, landing by a well, his hand uncurling and loosening the grip on his knife.
Hold on 1 second.
Is he really dead? Go ahead.
So in the original script, they had Rachel running over Michael 5 times.
Oh, really?
The ambulance, yeah.
Pulling like from the hitchhiker scene in Creepshow 2 where she just keeps running over the guy. Rachel tells Jamie to stay in the car. As she gets out, we hear sirens as Sheriff Meeker, the rest of the rednecks, and the state troopers arrive on the scene. How did they know to come back this way? I have no clue, but I'll take a crack at it on my next turn when I take the secret passage to the conservatory. See, I didn't say Cluedo this time. Secret passage is in the conservatory, right?
I think so.
I don't even know if there is.
To the kitchen? Yeah.
I think so.
Because the kitchen
I don't even know if the conservatory is in the new versions because, they modernize it and give it different rooms. He asks if they are all right, and where's Jamie? When you know it, like all kids, she didn't listen and got out of the truck. Somber music plays as she grabs her dead, wink wink, uncle's hand, but the sheriff and Rachel quickly run over and tell her to get away. As she stands up, we get another Tempo magazine stinger as we get a close-up of Michael's hand quickly clenching around the knife, and he slowly rises as Jamie walks away. They tell Jamie to get down, and they fire everything they have at Michael Myers, and he staggers back awkwardly with each blast, eventually falling backwards into the well, causing it to cave in on him as they look on in awe. Well, I guess Michael Myers is dead. So how are we going to sequel bait this one? Well, they take Rachel and Jamie back to the parents' house, and Loomis, he's back in this film finally, and he arrives back in this movie from his thrown through a door lunch break to let us know Michael Myers is in hell. Oh boy, that means he's just one lament configuration away from coming back. Or maybe we can get a Hellraiser versus Michael Myers versus Jason crossover? We'll have to wait a few more years for Jason to go to hell, though. Although, oddly enough, at one time, both of these were owned by Dimension, Hellraiser and Halloween, so there was talks of a Hellraiser-Halloween crossover at one point.
Really?
Yeah, versus movie. It never got off the ground, though.
It would be interesting.
There was some scripts written for it. Yeah, I was watching a YouTube video about it. It seemed kind of interesting. The sheriff remarks that the kids aren't likely to forget, but Loomis gives a solemn delivery of his next line. They've survived this ordeal. They'll survive its memory. Quite chilling. Good old Donald Pleasance, so good. Also, not likely, Loomis. Rachel's got one more sequel, and Jamie 2 tops. The mom takes Jamie upstairs and draws a bath, but we get a POV shot in the Dun, 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 dun. That score, the piano score from the first,
The Shining?
No. That sounded nothing like The Shining.
To me, it did.
So yeah, that piano score kicks in as someone moves down the hall and grabs a pair of scissors from another bathroom. Then a mask slides over the camera POV shot, reminiscent of the first Halloween as the bump part of the piano kicks in. What was that?
Nope.
Oh, okay.
I'm saying these piano scores are mixing you up.
They are. It's hard to phoneticize a piano score, you know what I mean?
Yes.
The masked assailant approaches the mother, ringing the bath for Jamie, and she turns and looks at this person. We cut to the staircase and hear the mother scream from upstairs. Loomis, worried, climbs halfway up the stairs, but stops at the sight he sees, quietly uttering out, "No," before screaming, "No!" as we have kill number 16, Mommy Deadest. We cut to Jamie in a Tempo magazine stinger as the Halloween theme plays, standing at the top of the stairs in her clown costume, all bloody and scissors clasped in her raised hand, pointing down like a knife, and we can only assume that she left the mother in pieces. It's exactly what you think it is. There's our swerve ending. Loomis is horrified and continues to scream, "No! No!" over and over as he finally raises his gun to shoot. But the sheriff stops him and takes his gun, but literally keeps it trained on Jamie. And I have to say, what's with all these police preventing Loomis from finishing off Myers' family killers? I hope this is never used again in another sequel. Oh, wait. Loomis trembles and sobs as the rest of the family climbs the stairs to look on, as we cut back to Jamie for one last Tempo magazine stinger, as Jamie raises the scissors again and begins to breathe heavily, having now inherited her uncle's claim as the new face of the franchise, and we roll credits. Now, I do have to say, I guess from the documentary, it's implied that when she takes Michael's hand, that's when, this weird transfer
So is this like
occurs.
the thing with Halloween Ends and Corey when they he stares at him and
Yeah,
because he's like,
but
he
it's
stares at
not,
him. He's like, you killed somebody too.
It's so weird with the hand though, because it's not explicitly shown there. You know what I mean? Which is fine. It's fine that's implicit.
So in the original ending, they had Jamie killing Rachel.
Oh yeah, I think I remember hearing about that. Anyways, boy, I can't wait to see all the sequels with grown-up Jamie Lloyd as the killer. Right?
Right.
Ah, man.
Shit.
They're going to pull a Friday the 13th Part 6 and bring back Michael again, aren't they?
Well, I mean, he is a magician now.
So anyways, that was Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers.
I got some stuff.
So, all right. Yeah, let's
All right.
go ahead and roll through the rest of your info there before we move on to taking the last bite.
For Jamie, the role of Jamie, Melissa Joan Hart auditioned for that role.
Oh.
It's from Clarissa Explains It All and Sabrina the Teenage Witch. I think she was in the original Sabrina the
Gotcha.
Teenage Witch. Obviously, she didn't get it. Wilbur and Morga had to frequently take their mask off to not scare Jamie.
Yeah, he said that in the documentary.
Yeah.
He made sure to take it off so she knew it was him. It's just pretend, which is very nice because you never know with child actors working. You don't want to actually scare them.
So what you were saying in the beginning about Loomis, how is he not dead?
I think I said that they meant to film a scene.
Yeah.
But they cut it out of the script.
I guess they filmed the scene where Loomis, firefighters are coming in.
Oh, did they actually film it?
And
he got blown through a wall or something.
And then he stopped them from putting Michael out or something like that. I don't know where I got this from yet.
Yeah, they essentially were going to refilm the whole ending with the explosion to show him getting thrown through a wall or something like that.
So the screenwriter, Alan B., I think it's McElroy.
Yeah.
He wrote the
McElroy.
script in 11 days.
Yes, because there's a writer's strike coming up. So they had to finish the script before the writer's strike.
And he only beat the writer's strike by mere hours.
Right, because when they go on strike, you can't write because you're part of the guild, so
this
you can't
movie...
work. Which is, It's interesting that it turned out. I mean, that's probably also why it's another safe entry. You know what I mean? It doesn't change the game. It's not a game breaker. It's a solid script for a slasher film.
For the director about the film and
Dwight Little.
Yeah, about Michael and his niece. He said Michael was trying to connect with his niece, but lacked the social capacity to do so without using violence.
It's kind of interesting.
I forget who told them. I'm sure it was probably the production company. That they needed more gore, so they added the thumb in the forehead and the neck twisting of the redneck.
Yes.
This was the highest kill count Halloween movie up into Halloween kills.
Yes, I forget what I have.
They have 17.
17?
Yeah. So
maybe there must have been another person at the gas station. Or not the gas station. I don't know. I never count the killing of the killer. You know what I mean?
And then if this was to go on planned as to turn this into like a Twilight Zone creep show thing, this movie was supposed to be from Carpenter and Deborah Hill, a ghost story movie.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it has a 5.8 out of 10 on IMDb, 31% of Rotten Tomatoes by the critics, and a 53% audience score. And that's all I have for that.
All right, I guess now it's time for us to take the last bite. Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers, is a cops do it by the book slasher, which isn't a bad thing. The plot is decent enough for a Halloween sequel, with Mike returning to Haddonfield upon learning of his last known living relative to hunt her down. It's impressive that the script was competent, given that it was written quickly to avoid the upcoming writer's strike. The cast is solid in this one, with great performances across the board, with the legendary Donald Pleasance at the top of his game once again portraying the obsessed Dr. Loomis. For a child actor, Daniel Harris delivers a great and believable performance as Michael's niece, Jamie Lloyd, showing, the proper reactions, being scared, crying and all that stuff. Bo Star is another exceptional standout as the tough-as-nails, no-nonsense Sheriff Meeker. George Wilbur and the other uncredited actor, Thomas Morga, is okay as Michael Myers, but the direction given him as being just a little bit too slow, I feel like he walks a little... I know Michael moves slow, but in this, he's just a little too much slow. It's like, hurry up, Michael, hurry it up.
Maybe he needed more dick in his life.
Yeah. Unfortunately, the look of bulky Michael Myers is terrible, which is clearly padded and accompanied by the horrible mask with the smooth hair. Although that wasn't the film production's fault. Like I said, it was the fault of where they got the mask and they didn't have enough time. They had to start filming this to stay on schedule. And while the score has some excellent renditions of the Halloween themes and uses of the original score from the first film by the great Alan Howarth, and is mood appropriate when it needs to be, it feels just a bit too bland and generic compared to the other entries in the franchise. This one continues to ramp up the gore with a good mix of off-screen cuts and actual displays of blood with great practical effects. Although there are some bad effects like Michael's windshield smashing head and Andrew McCarthy's girlfriend's uncle Michael Myers mannequin getting run over are some minor marks against this film. While the ending is certainly different, it isn't very original considering Friday the 13th Part 5 did something similar 3 years earlier. Although you can argue the setup is better in this film as to why Jamie becomes the killer versus how Tommy Jarvis was supposed to become a killer. Overall, Halloween 4 is a very safe slasher film that doesn't really try anything new compared to other slashers. It's not the best, but it's certainly not the worst slasher and is a well-paced and written story carried by great performances by the cast. It's very enjoyable and a fun time, despite some of its faults and having one of the worst-looking Michael Myers. I don't mind watching this one regularly during Halloween season, and it's the last truly good sequel we'll see in this franchise for a long time after this. But hey, for better or worse, Michael Myers is back, baby! Yeah! Overall rating, 3.5 pancakes. I need sound bites to be perfect for that.
Yeah, baby. All right.
So, Barry, give us your last bite.
All right, you want a last bite? I'll give you a bite. Halloween Ends is horror. Wait, wrong movie.
Wrong movie.
Oh, okay.
You have to wait for that one.
This is Halloween 4. All right. Okay. Let's just do some likes and dislikes like I do. Like I like some of the cinematography in the movie. The music was fine for me. Maybe a bit bland in some spots, but no, not really. I don't know. It was music. Just cut that out. I don't know what the hell I'm saying. So let me redo that. I have to redo this.
From the top.
From the top. Okay, so some of the things I like in a movie is obviously the soundtrack is the great. Not Jamie.
Daniel Harris.
Daniel Harris was great as Jamie Lloyd. Pleasance was still good. Yeah, a little different, a little slower. I don't know. Softer.
He's getting older.
I know. He's getting older. Like you said about Michael Myers played by Morgan Wilbur. He's weird looking and a little slow. Obviously, the mask.
Yeah, the portrayal's okay, but yeah, that's my main fault.
The mask
he walks a little too slow.
Horrible. And also, you have the weird, you can have the weird windshield thing and, like you said, the body on the ground. But,
yes.
But, I mean, as far as, like, the kills go, I think they did a good job with the kills. Nothing, like, too crazy, but, stuff was off screen, some was on screen. The ending was good. I liked the ending. It was a twist. You kind of didn't.
Yeah, it's a fun ending.
I didn't see that. I mean, I guess you really didn't. The first time seeing it, I didn't see it coming because I hadn't saw it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I watched these along after we reviewed Halloween 2. I started watching the rest of these, not for this specifically, but I rewatched it obviously. But some of the stuff. Yeah, to me, it seems like it's like I believe you said safe. It's a safe slasher movie. They take a little bit of stuff from maybe the first two, a little bit. I think that's kind of the direction of the screenwriter. I mean, I don't know if it would have been any different if he was not so pressured by a writer's strike. Anywho, with all that being said, I think it's a fine installment in the Halloween series, and it's definitely watchable and worth watching. And like you said, it's something to watch every year. Yeah, you could definitely watch it every year. It's safe, and I didn't think it was that bad, so I'm going to give it a solid 3 cannolis out of 5. And I recommend it.
Yeah, it's a very solid
it's-
entry. It's very fun.
You know, kind of middle of the road, but not in the bad way.
Yeah. It's not reinventing the game. It's not spectacular. There's some good effects from the great Beekler there, John Carl Beekler, but it's not like the greatest kills ever. It's not like something like Intruder with awesome kills in it.
Decent
but
cast, obviously. It was solid.
Yep. And that was Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers. So you got anything else before we roll out here, Perry?
Well, I got anything else? I don't got anything.
All right. Well, first, I guess I haven't done them yet, but we'll do the reminders. So be sure to like, share, and subscribe on your podcast app of choice. And you can help support the podcast at patreon.com/themadpancaker. And you can also visit themadpancaker.com. You can leave us a voicemail at themadpancaker.com or at anchor.fm/themadpancaker. Be sure to like and follow us on social media. I'm at The Mad Pancaker on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, pretty much everywhere. Perry is at Scary Perry, at Perry Scary on
Perry
Facebook.
Scary. I have no affiliation with a Halloween store Halloween store in Illinois.
Right. But anyway, so join us next time, where the next film we're going to talk about is another slasher film that came out the same week as another slasher film, Perry.
No way.
Yeah, the next slasher film we're going to talk about came out the same weekend as A Nightmare on Elm Street.
The Nightmare on Elm Street with Johnny Depp?
Yeah, but which one do you think people talk about more?
A Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah, considering we haven't said the name. Yes, join us next time where we talk about a movie that actually outgrossed A Nightmare on Elm Street on its opening weekend.
No shit.
And then was pulled from many theaters and protested heavily. So until next time, check please.
Doris!
The International House of Horror.